It's in every player's career, it has to come to an end. So it's just been a matter of me making an adjustment and trying to deal and get off into something else. I think that the NFL would have survived without me, and I would have survived without the NFL, but I'm happy that it turned out the way it did, and, that we can go on and basically, that the whole situation is over.
Maybe long-term contracts are not what they should be. Maybe you shouldn't sign a 6, 7, or 8-year contract. Maybe you should go for 2 or 3 or 4. Maybe that's the way. I can't truthfully say that we're right in everything we do. We live and we learn. And as long as a contract is a contract, maybe we write them for 3 or 4 years and see what happens in 3 or 4 years. And maybe the long-term contracts are a thing of the past.
Byron Day, NFL 81.
I don't know if Jim Brown ever had a long-term contract with the Cleveland Browns, but whatever he was paid, the Cleveland Browns got themselves a bargain, because in a world where superlatives are often overused, Jim Brown was clearly the best. The subject of our kickoff report.
Old Spice presents Kickoff. Kickoff is brought to you by Old Spice Stick Deodorant, the deodorant that works overtime.
In a game played by an always changing cast of highly competitive men, it was almost unthinkable the way Jimmy Brown totally dominated the position of fullback for almost a decade. Drafted number 1 out of Syracuse by the Cleveland Browns in 1957, he immediately led the league in rushing, as he would for 8 of the 9 years he played. He ran like no one else ever had, with a deceptive, seemingly effortless gliding motion, a thrust that propelled him through the line and into the open field. He had different speeds, different paces, gears he could shift at will. And gang tackling was the only sure way to stop him. Incredibly, he averaged 104 yards a game over his entire career, rewriting the record book along the way. He was always different, always the same, a blend of all the essentials: straightaway power, speed, balance, boldness, strength, stamina, and courage. He never missed a game. 2 simple statistics tell it all. In the history of professional football, no one has ever carried the ball for more yardage or scored more touchdowns than Jimmy Brown, Cleveland's perfect fullback.
Ed's been working overtime practicing his serve. He needs a deodorant that works overtime.
My boss is working overtime on a big presentation. He needs a deodorant that works overtime.
Only Old Spice Stick Deodorant gives you both 24-hour protection from odor, plus that famous Old Spice scent.
My son's been working overtime practicing his saves.
Good thing my Old Spice Stick works overtime, too.
Old Spice Stick, the deodorant that works overtime.
Rules of the NFL Road, some final notes, and a commentary from Pete Axthelm, all that and more when we come back.
Hey, that chicken is a rabbit.
Wrong. This chicken is a Rapid Diesel.
Ah, a Volkswagen Rabbit Diesel, the best mileage car in America.
Yep. We get about 600 buckets to the gallon with this Rabbit. Saving us a fortune.
Gee, that means you can pass the savings along to your customers.
No, it doesn't.
Volkswagen does it again.
Give that man.
Hey, what are you doing here? You didn't think you'd get rid of me that easy. I didn't think you'd make it back.
When the real taste of beer is everything you thirst for. The original. Blue Ribbon Beer.
The only thing our United Map of the NFL doesn't seem to have is the highways connecting the cities. In any event, it occurred to our friends over at NFL Films that, like the highways of the road, there are rules of the road in the NFL. so-so Sunday a week ago. Pete Axtell's record, 11-7 and holding. And we've got a baseball-football doubleheader today. Are you picking baseball too, my friend?
No, instead of picking baseball, I want to try a bigger surprise. I want to say something nice about George Steinbrenner.
Go ahead. It's your fault.
I think George has figured out that rage is a good weapon these days. Dallas Green also figured this out. You know, the Phillies were absolutely listless until Green got them all mad at him, and they've been taking it out on the Expos the last 2 games. George went in yesterday. Nobody could get much further listless and down than the Yankees. Maybe he woke them up. At least he thinks he did. And rage is a weapon I think the baseball people may be learning from football, because the Rams 2 weeks ago had all sorts of skirmishes in practice, and Doug France even cold-cocked one of the assistant coaches. Perhaps because they figured it was the hardest France had hit anybody all year, the Rams were so inspired they went out and won the game. Kind of reminds me of the old Chicago Bears. No matter how bad they were, they always gave a hard time to the mighty Green Bay Packers. Hog Hanna of the Packers must have said, those guys hate each other so much, they love to find us and hate us even more.
What's amazing to me, Peter, is not that George rants and raves, but that everybody gives him so much publicity for it. Why?
Well, you're always knocking publicity stunts. Men have fought and died for publicity stunts in this country. So, George, sure, it's a good stunt. He'll get headlines all winter about will he or won't he shake up the Yankees, and it will be a good media hype. Biggest media fake, perhaps, east of Notre Dame football.
You're a vicious man. What about your football picks?
Picks today, best bet, Seattle +7 to beat the Oilers. I like Cleveland +3.5 in the big game at Pittsburgh. And I like Detroit, the one NFC team that plays well against the AFC. Detroit +6.5 at Denver.
Okay, let's do some final notes very quickly. Week 6, the only unbeaten team, the Philadelphia Eagles, off to the best start in their 49-year history. They're going against the Saints. The only team without a win, the Washington Redskins, as they go against the Bears today. Consider their fate. They've won the total offense battle every week, but they've yet to get a victory. And out here in Denver, the Lions and the Broncos in a reunion of sorts. Back in 1967, the Denver Broncos and Detroit Lions played the very first AFC-NFC game. Typically enough, the Broncos won it. Since then, the AFC has won 50 more than they've lost. We're going to step aside. NFL 81 continues. We go down on the field following these messages from your local station.
Punch and John are in hot pursuit of high-speed con men Sunday on NBC.
You get a fish fillet and fries with coleslaw and chowder, or a salad, plus scallops or clams or shrimp. The seafood choice, yours for the super price at Skipper's.
This free brochure could chop 25% off your home energy use. Gives you a dozen energy-saving tips, money savers. Best of all, it shows you that saving energy makes sense. Dollars and cents. Send for it today. Write the Alliance to Save Energy, Washington, D.C.
Watch The Jack Patera Show, Saturday at 6:30.
Last week in the third quarter, trailing 10-7 against the Cincinnati Bengals. Number 85, Carl Roaches, breaks loose on this 96-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, and the Oilers won 17-10. But today in the Astrodome, an old nemesis returns, the Seattle Seahawks, victorious a year ago, 26-7. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mike Adamley along with Bob Trumpy. And Bob, let's start with the Seattle Seahawks. To my mind, they are not as bad as their 1-4 record might indicate. However, they have had problems punching it in from close in, and to that end, they have made some adjustments.
Big change in the offense for the Seattle Seahawks today. Second-round draft choice out of Boise State. This young man raised a great many eyebrows in Seattle when he was drafted. Who is David Hughes? Well, he's a great receiver out of the backfield for the Seahawks, plus a great blocker. So they're looking for a little more speed in their offensive backfield and another receiving threat for Jim Zorn to throw to today.
During the offseason, the Seattle Seahawks acquired the services of defensive coordinator Jackie Simpson from San Diego, and he has made that bunch more aggressive.
Look at Jacob Green, number 79 of the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks so far through 5 games have 15 sacks of the quarterback. Last year for the entire season, he had 26. He is from the Houston area. Today he had to buy 95 tickets for his friends, playing in front of the hometown folks, Mike.
Thus far this season, Stabler has been sacked 19 times, so it would stand to reason that Houston might get a little more conservative. But last week was ridiculous. Only 1 completion, net yardage minus 4 yards. I can't remember the last time a quarterback has done that and won.
I don't think it's ever happened, Mike. And because of that, because he had minus yardage and he has been sacked so much, the Houston Oilers have had to go back to the I formation. With Earl Campbell carrying the ball last week 37 times, his blocking back, Tim Wilson, probably took more abuse than Earl Campbell did, but they're hoping today not to have to give the ball to Earl Campbell 37 times, to have a little more diversified offense.
Stabler-led teams have been beaten by Seattle the last 5 times. Seattle has beaten Houston the last 2 times. Can they reverse that trend? We will find out in just a few moments. Opening kickoff between the Houston Oilers and the Seattle Seahawks after this.
You want to know which caulks, fillers, and adhesives you can really depend on? DAP. They're the only ones I recommend. They're easy to use and last for years. That's why DAP is the name professionals trust most in caulks, fillers, and adhesives. So if you want products that are easy to use and last for years, take my advice. Insist on DAP, the most trusted name in caulks, fillers, and adhesives.
You can't count on anything these days.
Did you type the letter I told you to type now?
With possibly one exception. Federal Express. When it absolutely positively has to be there overnight.
A little Old Spice has a lot of rewards. Old Spice is the clean, fresh, masculine scent so many women love. So even if you love only one woman, you'll love Old Spice, the man scent so many women love.
You'd never suspect from the storybook land of Bavaria come very innovative cars. The Audi 5000 Turbo with great power. The Audi 4000 5+5 with great performance. The Audi Diesel with extraordinary fuel economy. Audi brings new ideas from the old world to the new world. Audi, the art of engineering.
Looking at the AFC Central Division standings, Pittsburgh, Houston, and Cincinnati all tied at 3-2. Browns and Steelers play today in Three Rivers. A Houston win can maintain their lofty position. In the AFC's Western Division, Seattle last at 1-4, but their only win came at the expense of the Denver Broncos. We're moments away from opening kickoff. Stay with us.
Turn on today, weekday mornings, and wake up to what's happening.
If you savor food with flavor, then let good taste come through. Just add a little magic that Crescent makes for you.
Whatever kind of food you're fixing, these little packs of magic really bring out the flavor. Crescent sauces, gravies, and seasoning mixes. For your next meal, pour on the flavor. Crescent.
When it's a matter of good taste, it looks like you say yes. The word for flavor's Crescent. Crescent flavors best.
For a quality design tool that's value priced, get these Vice Grip 7-inch locking pliers, just $3.79 as the October tool value of the month at True Value hardware stores. Vice Grip pliers are the original locking pliers. Use it as a clamp, a pipe wrench, or nail puller. And you can even cut wire. Get the original Vice Grip locking pliers, now just $3.79 while supplies last at True Value hardware stores and home centers displaying this banner.
High interest. Uninsured savings deposits. Cascade Savings and Loan Association. You're in Cascade country. Cascade Savings. High interest on insured savings deposits. Safe. Cascade Savings in Tacoma, Bellevue, Seattle, Linwood, Everett, Marysville, and Bellingham.
The latest in sports tonight at 5:30.
NBC Sports presents the best of the National Football League, the American Football Conference. Today, from the Astrodome, it's the Seattle Seahawks versus the Houston Oilers. Today's game is brought to you by the new Chrysler Corporation. For 1982, Chrysler has the cars, the quality, and the prices America needs. By Schlitz, the master brewer's brew. Just one taste and you'll know behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer. By Big A Auto Parts, we've got the part you need when you need it. We've got it. And by America's full-service bankers, ready to serve you where you see this symbol. The 28th consecutive sellout here in the Astrodome. Hello, everybody. Mike Adamle along with Bob Trumpy. The Seattle Seahawks have won the toss. They have elected to receive. Tony Fritz set to kick off. Back deep for Seattle, number 41, Will Lewis, and number 27, Gregory Johnson. A low liner fielded by number 25, Don Dufek, across the 30 to 35-yard line where he's smothered under by a whole host of Houston Oilers, and there is a flag on the play. Jim Zorn starting quarterback for the Seahawks today. That kickoff returned by Dufek, 17 yards, but the penalty looks to be against the Seahawks.
Illegal block above the waist in the back. Number 59 receiving team. First down.
Jerry Seaman, the referee, making the call. We have seen that call, particular penalty, many times this season, Bob.
Especially on the kickoff and kickoff return team. As you look at the receivers, McCullum had a big game last year against the Oilers. 4 catches, 80 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
First and 10, Seattle on their own 27-yard line. Largent in motion left. And the give is to David Hughes, who is making his first National Football League start. Second-round draft choice this year out of Boise State. Loss of 1, second down and 11. As we look at the offensive line for Seattle. Largent again in motion left. Sherman Smith and David Hughes, the split backs. Zorn back to pass on 2nd and 10. Little screen pass out to Hughes. Got some running room and some blockers. Finds a little bit of daylight and takes advantage of it. Across the 35 to the 36-yard line. 3rd and 1.
Mike, one thing that's been very characteristic of the Houston Oilers defense so far this season through 5 games, as you look at their front 3, Bethea, Kennard, and Doris, is that their linebackers and defensive backs take away the deep stuff. There are the 4 linebackers. Very, very active. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if all day long we don't see the Seahawks throw lots of screens.
Big change here in the defensive backs. Carter Hartwig starting at right cornerback in place of Greg Stemrick. The reason being, from what we hear, disciplinary reasons. 3rd and 1. Ball at the 36 of Seattle. David Hughes gets it and may have gotten enough for the first down. Ken Kennard and number 69, Andy Doris, there to meet the second-round draft choice out of Boise State.
If the Seahawks have had a problem so far this season, it has been in that 3rd down conversion situation. If you take away about 2 feet of the football field through 5 games, I think they win 2 more. They've just been stopped in 4th and 1 and 3rd and 1 in very crucial situations. It's a first down, Seattle. Greg Bingham on the ground there. Obviously some injury. I thought he was looking to see just how close the measurement might be, and it appears he has a cramp in his calf. Eddie Biles, the new head coach of the Houston Oilers. He was a defensive coordinator under Bum Phillips for several years here. When Bum went west to New Orleans, Eddie Biles took over. Or excuse me, that's east to New Orleans, isn't it? Not very good on geography.
Greg Bingham, of course, the leading tackler for the Houston Oilers for the last several seasons. Inspirational leader for this team.
That would be a gigantic blow to the Houston Oilers defense if Greg can't play anymore. It appears that he's telling the trainer they got hit on the outside of the knee. Tough cookie that kid is.
Number 51, Ted Thompson, 7th-year veteran out of Southern Methodist University, has come in to replace Bingham. 1st and 10 for the Seahawks on their own 38. Motion fake. Zorn out to Largent's got a first down at midfield. J.C. Wilson, number 33 on the stop.
One of the things that Houston does defensively, too, is an awful lot of zone coverage. 12 yards on the pass and catch to Largent. And this is the weak side of the zone. They rotated away from J.C. Wilson. And Zorn just took what was available, and that was underneath that zone coverage.
Like to remind you, very big day here on NBC Sports. Not only football, but coming up after this game, we'll join that National League Western Division Series between the Astros and Dodgers. So stay with us. 1st and 10, Seattle at midfield. Zorn, quick out to Sam McCullum. A gain of about 7. Again, J.C. Wilson, number 33, on the stop.
Timing pattern once again, Mike. Very, very short. Not looking to get it all in one play. Just take advantage of what the defense offers, and that is rotation away from that side, this side of the field, and they're just throwing it underneath coverage.
2nd down and 3 for Seattle, now in Houston territory for the first time this game. At the 43. Largent wide right, McCullum wide left. Largent now in motion left. And to give us to Hughes, who cuts back against the grain and picks up some difficult yardage and has enough for the first down. Ted Thompson, number 51, the first to meet him.
Mike, as we said in our pregame show, very many eyebrows were raised when this young man was drafted by the Seahawks out of Boise State, not known as one of the perennial football powers in this country. But many people in the Seattle Seahawks organization considered him the best blocking back in college football. And a few weeks ago, he had 12 receptions against Kansas City. Today, his first start.
Bingham has returned to the lineup for Houston. 1st and 10, Seattle at the Houston 39. Zorn to throw. And has got number 86, Mike Tice, over the middle. Darrell Hunt there to meet him. And Tice, a big target, 6'7", 235-pound rookie out of Maryland, and was a quarterback there.
He was a 2-year starter for quarterback for Maryland.
2nd down and 2. 11:21 remaining here in the first quarter. No score.
Seattle showing good patience. That was Tice's first reception as a professional in the regular season.
Sherman Smith now flanked right. And Zorn gives to Hughes. Probes the right side of that Houston defensive line. And it'll be close to the first down. Scores around the league. In the second quarter, the Pittsburgh Steelers lead the Cleveland Browns 10-0. In that game, Bradshaw has a 9-yard touchdown pass to John Stallworth, and the Jets big over New England, 21-7 in the second quarter. Also, Oakland trailing Kansas City 10-0, and Kansas City has been a surprise team all this year. Los Angeles trailing the Falcons 14-3 in the second. And New Orleans trailing Philadelphia undefeated 24-7 in the second. Zorn on 1st and 10.
He's open.
McCullum's open. J.C. Wilson made up some ground he had lost on McCullum. Ball was underthrown, and Wilson made the prevented touchdown.
Mike, Jim Zorn tried to put a little finesse on the ball here. You'll see him take something off of this, and if he'd rifled it, I think it would have been a completion. But good job by McCullum to break up the interception in the end zone. Zorn now 4 of 5. That's the first incompletion he's had on the day for 36 yards.
2nd and 10 after 28 of Houston.
Coming up on 5 minutes of possession in their first drive so far this period, right?
That keeps Earl Campbell off the field. 3 wide receivers for Seattle. Mark McGrath is checked into the game, number 89. And Zorn will throw. And again, J.C. Wilson on top of Mark McGrath, but McGrath has made a sensational catch. Great concentration.
J.C. Wilson, you see his right hand there. He, a couple of weeks ago, was wearing a cast, broke his thumb. And you got to give credit to McGrath. This is an interception all the way. J.C. Wilson has it. McGrath pulls it out of his hands. That's twice. Receivers have done things that coaches look for in receivers. 11 yards on the reception. And they're going to measure for a first down here. And it is a first down.
At the Houston 17, and now number 27, Greg Stemrick, the 7th-year man out of Colorado State, has returned to the starting lineup for Houston in place of Carter Hartwig.
We understand that the fact that Stemrick did not start that game may have cost him as much as $2,000. He had a clause in his contract that said that if he started 16 games, he got a $2,000 bonus.
Seahawks out of the eye. Zorn gives to Sherman Smith the tailback, and he finds some room on the right side. Bethay, 65, was there first.
There's a big man in the Seattle Seahawks scheme of things. When he went down last year, it really stunned the Seahawks offense off that sprint draw. He was a college quarterback out of Miami of Ohio, and he can throw the ball, he can catch it, he runs with authority, has about a 4.5-yard average for his career. Last year, missed the entire season.
Seattle 2nd and 5 at the Houston 13. Slip to Smith. He's got David Hughes out in front as well as number 64, Ron Essing. Robert Brazil, the all-pro linebacker for the Oilers, was there to bring Sherman Smith down.
Slow getting up. Smith is slow getting up. Hopefully it's nothing to his knee. But I will tell you this, Mike. Seattle, yes, I thought they were going to call a penalty on him. This is either holding Seattle or a block in the back. It appeared that Largent came back on the linebacker as he was coming in motion and kind of sealed the corner. Let's see what the call is.
Holding number 86 offense.
The tight end, Tice.
The ball now reset at the 23-yard line, and Seattle will face a 1st and 20 situation as we look at Sherman Smith leaving the game and Zorn calling the shots. He has been replaced by number 37, Eric Lane, a rookie out of Brigham Young. And Zorn will throw up top. In Stemrick's direction, he had Largent. Largent couldn't hang on, and a good play by Mr. Stemrick.
Houston that time, Mike, had 5 defensive backs, 4 defensive linemen, and 2 linebackers. And the 2 linebackers were not covering the middle. Zorn is a very, very mobile quarterback. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they don't come with something like a quarterback draw as opposed to throwing it down the field. 3rd down now and 14.
Jesse Baker, number 75, big man out of Jacksonville State now, brought in for pass rush purposes.
Same defense, 4-2-5.
Zorn looking for Eric Lane. Lane tripped up. Robert Brazil there on the coverage.
Well, they had the ball for 5 minutes and 20 seconds in this opening drive. So, excuse me, 6 minutes and 20 seconds. Not a bad opening drive. Herrera on for the field goal. It'll be what? About 22, 32, and 7, a 39-yard attempt.
Herrera on the year 4 for 7 in the field goal department. His long 52 yards. So he's certainly capable.
And they're not opposed to doing something funny out of this formation.
From 40 yards out, Efren Herrera's kick is up, and it is good. So Seattle has once again drawn first blood here in the Astrodome. With 8:36 left to go, it's the Seahawks 3, the Oilers nothing.
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
Down here in Texas, people know a good beer, and many choose the taste of my Schlitz. Just one glass will tell a lot of beer drinkers what I've known all along. You just can't buy a better tasting beer than Schlitz.
What do I really think? I think Schlitz tastes better than Miller. Schlitz tastes really smooth. Mr. Sellinger, your Schlitz tastes good. It really does.
I'm glad you like it.
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
At JCPenney Auto Centers, we won't steer you wrong. We will steer you to the amazing JCPenney Mileage Maker XP all-season steel-belted radio for great traction in any road conditions. And right now, save $28 to $68 on a set of 4. The Mileage Maker XP with the unique interlock block tread. Season in, season out. The only tire you need, only at JCPenney.
JCPenney Auto Centers. We won't steer you wrong.
Bob, I know you let bygones be bygones, but I understand this is where you played your last professional game right here in the Astrodome.
1977, and we had a chance to go to the playoffs, and we lost the last game to the Oilers.
Long time ago.
Yes, you're right, but it's still fresh in my memory. Yeah, the Seahawks break on top here 3-0, but they now face the most dangerous part of the Houston Oilers football team, and that is their kickoff returns with Roaches and Willie Tullis.
Roaches, of course, last week a 96-yarder against the Bengals, and then Willie Tullis in the opener against the Ram went 95 for a score. They are devastating when they get the ball, but Herrera bangs this ball out of bounds.
This should be an interesting confrontation on the day because the Seahawks have the best kickoff and punt coverage teams in the NFL. So you've got the best return team against the best coverage team, and those two guys right there, I mean, are outstanding. They are 1-2 in the NFL in return yardage. And if it hadn't been for their special teams last weekend, they would have lost. There's the scoring drive. 6:24, a 41-yard field goal by Herrera. 13 plays, 50 yards, and a very diversified offense. Lots of different people handled the football.
Offensive coordinator Jerry Rowe most happy with that last drive.
I spoke to Jim Zorn prior to the football game, Mike, and he told me that he was more encouraged about the offensive game plan today against Houston than he had against any team that they played so far in 1981. There's those guys.
1981 top kickoff returners in the National Football League. Roaches and Tullis 1-2, and David Verser, the #1 draft choice for Cincinnati, relegated to a kick return position with the play of Chris Collingsworth.
You know, it may be the game plan of Seattle to kick the ball out of bounds on the kickoffs. I know that's foolish to say, but you got to keep it out of their hands somehow.
Herrera's kick is high and fielded by Roaches at the 10, across field, trying to find some running room and breaks it quickly. He is bottled lightly. Number 59, Rodell Thomas, a rookie out of Alabama State who was actually with Miami for the first 3 games of this 1981 season.
10 yards on that turn.
Stabler sacked 19 times this year. Of course, the I formation with Campbell and Wilson. Kenny Burrow, the ageless one, at wide receiver. Leon Gray, the all-pro at left tackle, but this team has given up sacks, and they are trying to improve that.
The I formation for Houston.
1st and 10 at their own 21. They give us to Campbell. Who else? And Tyler Rose drags about 4 or 5 Seattle Seahawks with him out across the 25 to about the 26.5-yard line. 2nd and 5. John Harris there. Defensively, some big changes. Mike White starting at right tackle and Manu Tuiasosopo starting at right end. He usually plays inside for pass rush purposes. Linebackers, Joe Norman starting for Terry Beeson and middle linebacker. And then Gregory Johnson starting for the injured Kenny Easley at left safety. 2nd and 5. Stabler will throw. He's got Burrow. And a 1st down. And Bob, the Oiler crowd loves that because they didn't see that last week.
Ken Stabler just matched his entire output of last week. He had 1 completion for a grand total of 6 yards. 10 yards on that catch by Burrows. And to put it into proper perspective, last week the Oilers ran 48 offensive plays. 38 of them were accountable to one Earl Campbell. 37 carries and 1 catch.
All resting at their own 36-yard line. They have a 1st and 10. 7:06 remaining here. Seahawks lead 3-0. Give to Campbell, left side. Behind Casper's blocks. He's got a room, but flag on the play. Credit number 87, Dave Casper, with a great block allowing Campbell to spring outside, but the yellow flag is down.
Earl Campbell, Mike, has to be the only running back holding Houston. Got 15 yards on that carry, but Earl Campbell has to be the only running back in the NFL who wears a defensive lineman's shoulder pads. Are you aware of that, Mike? Just for protection.
Well, he weighs 237 pounds dripping weight with all his protective equipment.
Holding number 45 offense.
Tim Wilson on the hold. That's the blocking back for one Earl Campbell.
As you look at today's officiating crew, Jerry Seaman, of course, the referee. Umpire Frank Sinkovitz. Head linesman Leo Miles. John Leinbach. The line judge, back judge Paul Bates. 1st and 20. Come on, D! Come on, D! Stabler. Try to hit out to Tim Wilson, number 45. Manu Tuiasosopo, number 74. who's got 4 sacks on the season, applied great pressure.
There's this snake who was retired then unretired, had exactly 7 practices prior to the first game, a game in which he played very well. And Tuiasa Sopo starting out at defensive end. So far, that's worked. Pressure on Ken Stabler.
Their front people are rather light, so the addition of Whiteway, who weighs 266, should help them stopping the bullish rushes of Mr. Campbell. 2nd down and 15, ball to Houston 30. Again, Stabler will throw. Out to Campbell. Got some running room, but Michael Jackson, 55, was there, as was number 27, Gregory Johnson. And Mr. Campbell can be just as effective in the open field by catching the ball as he can running it. And they like to do that a lot.
Now you see those stats for receiving for Earl Campbell. He was the Oilers' leading receiver in the preseason. And he seems to be an absolutely tireless person. Jim Schaffner, the offensive coordinator of the Oilers, came up to him on Tuesday and said, "Earl, we're going to give it to you 50 times this week." Earl said, "I don't care." And then about 10 minutes later, he came back and says, "Don't you think we ought to throw it once more?"
He's on the sidelines right now. 3rd and 11, shotgun formation. We have not seen that this year from the Oilers.
Whoa!
Bad snap. Stabler is lucky to get it off. Azure Armstrong, number 39, a utility man for these Oilers, made a sensational grab. A flag is on the play, however.
I think it has something to do with the fair catch signal by Ken Stabler on that snap.
Well, David Carter is the center, and they have not run that play at all this year.
Offside Seattle. Here's a note. Pat Hayden, the quarterback of the Los Angeles Rams, has just broken his leg. So now the quarterback controversy in Los Angeles is no more.
And the hard luck saga of Mr. Hayden continues.
Offside, number 75, defense.
Robert Hardy. Watch this play. I don't believe this is the way it was drawn up. Watch the snap. You'll see the fair catch signal by Stabler, who makes a great reception, I might add, and dodges Hardy. Whoa, what a catch. What a catch by Armstrong.
Elijah Pitts, the offensive backfield coach and great Green Bay player in the years back, loves Armstrong. You can see why right there. 3rd and 6. Shotgun again. Stabler. Out to Ronnie Coleman. First down. But another flag is on the play. And Stabler throws it down, and it looks like it will be called back.
And an official is down, too. I mean, he really got leveled. He looks like he's out cold. He appears to be all right.
That's the field judge, number 9, Bill O'Brien. Referees, as many hours as they put into their job, are not meant for contact.
Yeah, look at the attention he is getting. These are not athletes. These are normally former athletes. These guys are insurance salesmen and high school principals. And they can't take the abuse that Earl Campbell might take in a football game. Let's hope he's all right. The flag down, though, appears to be offensive holding. And when the Oilers' offensive line has not allowed a sack, they've grabbed a hold of somebody.
There are also 2 flags in the vicinity of the place that Ronnie Coleman was brought down.
Clip on the official. Clip on the official. I'm joking. There is no such flag.
Although Mr. O'Brien may go back to head official Art McNally this week and say, let's put one in.
Yes. Or maybe eventually we'll have officials with shoulder pads and helmets. It'll probably be a washout, I would think, if it is in fact against the Seattle Seahawks down here. Have to wait and see. Okay, so what they'll do is the 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties will wash each other out. They will charge the Houston Oilers with 15 yards, and they'll go from there. Or is it 10 yards?
Holding, number 74, offense. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 76, offense. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 76, defense. Offsetting penalties.
Whoops, wait a minute. He's got a holding penalty on Houston that he has to account for. He got 3 penalties. He got 1 outstanding, gentlemen. Hold it. How does Houston get away with holding with no penalty? They wash out the down? Where is Art McNally?
That is the decision that referee Jerry Seaman has made.
Am I wrong, or did Houston just get away with a free penalty? Offensive holding.
3rd and 6 at the 39. Stabler again out of the shotgun. Intended for Dave Casper and almost picked off by number 42, Keith Simpson. The shotgun has afforded Kenny Stabler a lot more time to throw. It has been effective. However, on that particular play, Keith Simpson was there to step in front of Dave Casper, and so the Oilers will have to punt.
We're going to have to check the officials' booth here and find out how Houston got away with the penalty. If you got 3 penalties and 2 are offsetting, what happened to the offensive hold of the Houston Oilers? I believe it should have been assessed. But nevertheless.
Parsley will punt from his own 25-yard line. Back deep, Paul Johns, number 85 for the Seahawks.
Good punt.
And Johns wisely calling for the fair catch at his 25-yard line. Good punt. Good hang time by Cliff Parsley. So we have 5 minutes and 33 seconds left to go here in the Astrodome. The Seahawks lead it 3-0.
Let's talk about prices and let's talk about interest rates. The average buyer, I need to tell this group, has literally been jolted by the so-called, one of you guys coined it, I guess, sticker shock when he walks into a new car showroom. We're going to try today to declare war on sticker shock. We will hold the price line on Omni, Horizon, Miser, and custom models, and we will hold the line on the base prices of all of our low-end Aries Reliant 2-door and 4-door models. We're really proud of the new products we're bringing out.
Food, clothes, just about everything seems to cost more today. One reason young families think they can't afford life insurance.
Allstate update, lower life insurance rates.
Now, Allstate's cut prices up to 20% on a lot of their life insurance. Like this $100,000 level term policy that now only costs a 28-year-old father about $19 a month. Before you buy, come in and compare. For life, home, or auto, you're in good hands with Allstate.
Premiering Saturday, October 24th, it's the Nashville Palace for music and comedy. Only the best play the Palace on NBC.
Our Friday show.
Mike Adamle and Bob Trumpy back here in the Astrodome. 5:33 remaining here in the first quarter. The Seahawks have a 3-0 lead over the Houston Oilers. And if you've just joined us, you will recall a week ago the Oilers, Ken Stabler, completed 1 pass for -4 in net yards. And today they have unveiled the shotgun, and it has been fairly successful, although it has produced no Oiler points. Seattle will put the ball in play at their own 25-yard line, 1st and 10. David Hughes and Sherman Smith, who left the game earlier, he's now back in. They're the running backs. Fake to Hughes. Sherman Smith has got Ted Washington beat in open field across the 50-yard line. Finally, number 37, Mike Reinfeldt, brings a halt to his odyssey.
That is the value of Sherman Smith in the offensive backfield of the Seattle Seahawks. A great receiver, 28 yards on the pass, catch, and run. And you see it's linebacker coverage on Sherman Smith, and Smith has like 4.5 speed for a guy who was 6'4" and 225. It was a mismatch.
He would like it to be known, too, that his injured knee is perfectly okay. Any sluggishness he has shown is only because of the rusty year's layoff.
He has to relearn how to play the game, Mike. 1st and 10, Seattle.
Houston territory at the 47. Play action fake. Brazil rushes. Jim Zorn and a flag on the play.
I don't think that Robert Brazil should argue that point. I believe that was obviously roughing the passer. But it was a blitz that was not picked up by somebody from the backside of the formation and the backside of the roll. I'm sure Mr. Zorn is going to try to get a hold of that guy and find out exactly why he missed him.
Eddie Biles, you saw him earlier, obviously displeased with the call.
Roughing the passer, number 52.
You be the judge on this. I believe this is obviously... Yeah, that's a little extraordinary. Yeah, that's a little extracurricular activity. The flag is warranted.
So Seattle in business once again under the rain of heavy boos here in the Astrodome. Zorn wants time to settle this crowd down.
This place is enclosed, and it does get noisy in here.
Well, John Hadel once had a great quote. He said the trouble with playing in the Astrodome is if you're playing bad and they start to boo you, they boo you twice because of the concussion off the ceiling. Another score in Los Angeles, or the Rams are trailing the Atlanta Falcons 21-20 in the second quarter. The game is in Atlanta.
Matt Hayden has broken his leg. Jeff Rutledge now in, and he has thrown a 1-yard pass to Henry Childs for a touchdown.
First and 10 at the Houston 32. I formation. Largent in motion right. Flip to Sherman Smith.
He's got it.
He's got a lot of room outside. Inside the 20 and knocked out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Darrell Hunt on a play that completely befuddled the Houston defense.
Same play they ran earlier, Mike, only had a penalty called on it. Largent comes in motion inside to the formation, and he picks off the linebacker or the strong safety, and there's nobody there to support the run. 12 yards.
Undefeated Eagles still rolling. 24-7 over New Orleans in the second. Cincinnati on top of Baltimore, 3-0 in the first. And the Battle of the Bays, Green Bay on top of Tampa Bay, 7-0 also the first quarter. First and 10 at the 20-yard line. Seattle threatening to increase their 3-0 lead with 4:38 to go here in the first quarter. Give us to David Hughes. He bangs it inside for some tough yardage. Kenny Kennard, number 71. Greg Bingham getting off the bottom of the pile.
So far offensively, Seattle's been able to do just about anything they want. And that puts an awful lot of pressure on the defense. There's not one thing you can set for. And they've avoided that much hated second and third and long situation, Mike. They've got good yardage on their first down with the exception of this time, and it's kept them out of trouble.
At the Houston 17, Zorn will throw. Hughes is wide open, touchdown. David Hughes beat number 50, Darrell Hunt, and David Hughes, the number 2 draft choice out of Boise State this year, has his first National Football League score of his career.
So much for the raised eyebrows in Seattle as to why this young man was drafted. He offers more speed out of the backfield, and as you can see, an excellent receiver. That's not an easy ball to catch, Mike. You and I both know that, going straight away from the football.
Carrera now on the field to attempt the extra point. He is perfect thus far this year, 8 for 8. Carrera's kick is up, make it 9 for 9. So the jink apparently continues. The Houston Oilers having all kinds of problems with the Seattle Seahawks. They trailed 10-0 in the first.
What's the Midas touch? It's using specially coated steel.
To help our mufflers last.
It's putting in a louver tube.
To help your engine run easy.
It's having a tuning chamber.
To help your car run quietly.
It's manufacturing our own mufflers.
For over 25 years.
And it's standing behind them.
In writing.
It's getting the right mufflers at the right price. Get the Midas touch. Nobody else has it.
Oh, yeah.
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
The people in St. Louis know their beer, but as a master brewer...
Schlitzer.
Thank you. I know one taste of my Schlitz can change a lot of minds. And now more people know.
I like Schlitz better than Bud.
I'm a Miller drinker, but you have to taste Schlitz to believe it.
Mr. Sillinger, your Schlitz tastes good. It's a good tasting beer.
Here's to it.
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
Last year here in the Astrodome, the Seattle Seahawks totally dominated the Houston Oilers, 26-7 that final score. Now the Oilers find themselves trailing once again 10-0 with 3:58 to go here in the first quarter. Herrera to kick.
And normally the inspiration for the Oilers this season has come from these two gentlemen back there to receive this kickoff. Willie Tullis and Carl Roaches. They've been the ones to ignite the Houston Oilers.
Herrera kicks it high. And again, Roaches fields it at his 8. He'll take it up the right sideline. breaks one tackle and another across the 30 to about the 33-yard line. That man is quick. Kickoff return of 27 yards for Carl Roaches. Rodell Thomas, number 59, on the stop for Seattle.
Well, now the Houston Oilers are in trouble. Their biggest problem is protecting the quarterback, even with the shotgun. And they're going to have to start putting the ball up in the air more than they have in the past couple of weeks, because being down 10-0, as you see the scoring drive of the Seahawks, Mr. Hughes, his first touchdown ever.
I formation, Burrow and Renfro are wide to the right. As he gives it to Campbell with a lot of running room. One man to beat, John Harris. And Mr. Campbell takes it down to the 30-yard line before he's knocked out of bounds.
What did I say? They're going to have to throw the ball? Well, he just liked throwing the ball. Absolutely tireless. 28 yards. And the combination of speed and quickness, and give a lot of credit to the offensive line of the Oilers. When he carries the ball, they seem to block a little tougher than when anybody else carries the ball.
And when they do run, they like to go to the side of All-Pro Leon Gray, number 74.
And Dave Casper, number 87. Two All-Pros sitting shoulder to shoulder, and both outstanding blockers.
Houston's ball at the Seattle 40, 1st and 10. I formation, give to Campbell, a lot of room inside. Bangs it for 5 yards to the 34-yard line. Joe Norman was there first, the man who replaced Terry Beeson at middle linebacker.
5 carries for 38 yards now for the Tyler Rose.
What Seattle has tried to do, they have replaced Fred Anderson, who only weighs about 245, and bring Mike White into the lineup, number 70, who weighs 266. It gives them a little more beef up front, but so far it hasn't worked.
Officially 4 carries for 41 yards for Campbell.
2nd and 4. Campbell slips on the second base area of this converted baseball field.
Not converted yet. The Astros are still playing. And if Nolan Ryan can duplicate his performance of a couple of weeks ago on a Saturday when he no-hit the Dodgers, they'll be playing baseball here again.
Well, we'd like to remind you that today indeed is a very big day on NBC. In addition to this game, immediately after, you will be seeing that National League Western Division 5th and final decisive game at Dodger Stadium. Jerry Royce will be going against Nolan Ryan. Shotgun on 3rd and 8. Stabler has got Coleman at the 32-yard line. Keith Butler providing the coverage. It is short of the first down, and the hometown fans here urging Ed Biles to go for it on 4th down.
Interesting, the Oilers taking Campbell out in pure passing situations and putting in Ronnie Coleman and Adger Armstrong. Obviously, they're giving away some of the deception of the offense, but still, head coach Eddie Biles in his first year feels that, so what if they know we're going to pass? We think we can still do it.
Well, he promised everybody here in Houston, the press and the fans, that he would diversify the offense a bit, and he has by unveiling the shotgun.
4th and 1.
Everybody's up and on their feet here. Big first quarter play for the Oilers. Stabler. Burrow wide open at the 5. Touchdown.
On the touchdown, a broken play. Obviously meant to get nothing but the first down. The coverage is broken by Seattle. Burrow's uncovered. Harris tries to make the desperation tackle.
And the shotgun formation has worked wonders. It has allowed Kenny Stabler an extra second to throw the ball, and Kenny Burrow registers his 4th touchdown of the year. Tony Fritsch on the field for the extra point.
That was not out of the shotgun, though, Michael. That was from under center.
Fritsch, 8 for 8. He is perfect again. So a big touchdown play. Ken Stabler to 0-0 Ken Burrow, and the Oilers are back in business. It's 10-7 Seahawks. We'll be back.
If one plug goes wrong in an 8-cylinder car, you've still got 7 left to pull you along. But if one goes wrong in a 4-cylinder car, you got problems. Autolite spark plugs are made for small engines. They've got a fused glass seal in here to give you full power, and a wide heat range that helps stop misfiring and fouling at low speeds. If you have a small car, why not get a plug made for small engines? Autolite.
Denny's introduces the Beefadelphia sandwich. We grill lean beef, juicy and tender. Melt rich mozzarella cheese over the top. Add succulent grilled onions. Cover with a soft French roll. And serve it all for the special introductory price this month of only $2.99. The new Beefadelphia sandwich only at Denny's, where you'll like our prices and you'll love our food.
The stage is now set for what may well be the most dramatic season finale in the history of Grand Prix auto racing, as three of the world's top drivers battle for racing's most coveted title, the Caesars Palace Grand Prix, live next Saturday on NBC Sports World.
We are back in the Astrodome. Mike Adamle along with Bob Trumpy. The Oilers have just scored on a 31-yard touchdown pass Stabler to Kenny Burrell, and they are back in business. It's 10-7 with 1:23 left to go here in the first quarter. Tony Fritz drives one to Will Lewis at his 4. Looking for room outside, and has got some across the 30 and out to the 35-yard line.
There's nothing that takes the steam out of a team after they've scored a touchdown like a long return, 31 yards by Will Lewis. Now we'll watch the touchdown again from behind Ken Stabler. We believe this to be an audible at the line. He's looking for Renfro out in the flat. Sees Burrow uncovered. That's the experience of Ken Stabler, although the ball was underthrown. That 46th touchdown now leaves him 5 behind Charlie Hennigan, who is the Houston Oilers' all-time touchdown receiver.
1st and 10 for Seattle at their own 35-yard line, and Zorn wastes no time throwing the ball out to David Hughes. He is rudely met by J.C. Wilson, but spins off that tackle. Darrell Hunt there to finish it up.
Jim Zorn now 8 of 11 for about 96 yards, and watch this contact. We understand from Don Anderson, the Seattle Seahawks publicist, that David Hughes' wife and daughter are now in Seattle, and this is the first time they're watching husband and father David play professional football. Well, so far he's done all right. Crazy George.
2nd and 7 at the 38. Largent. Motion left. Give it to Sherman Smith out of the eye, but he's going nowhere. 1, 2, 3 Oilers there to meet him first by number 59, Ted Washington.
There's the scoring drive.
You mentioned that Kenny Burrell trails Charlie Hennigan. I'm sure the old Oiler fans remember the days of Jefferson Stadium and when that man was working his magic.
They had scores. Charlie Toller was carrying the football. They had scores of 51-49 and 48-47. And
George Blanda throwing the ball. Hoyle Granger. 3rd and 7 for Seattle at the 38. Zorn in trouble, has to flush from the pocket across the 40. Jesse Baker was there to, along with Greg Bingham.
At second base. No defense in the league holds the quarterback accountable, and Zorn is the second leading rusher on the Seattle Seahawks so far this season. At second base, he is down 10-7 Seahawks over the Oilers. Action will continue in the second quarter.
Nowadays, there are all sorts of ways of saving and investing money that help fight inflation. The problem is finding the one that's most profitable for you, because now you're forced to swim through all kinds of confusing details, maturity dates, minimum deposits, interest rates, even tax benefits. But there is a way to escape all this confusion. It's by calling or visiting your full-service bank. For professional guidance with high-yield savings, it's all the bank you'll ever need.
Introducing America's highest mileage 6-passenger driving machine, the 1982 Dodge Aries K, with improved engine performance for even better mileage than last year.
With front-wheel drive, rack and pinion steering, and improved suspension for even better ride and performance than last year. With so much that's new and exciting, the most incredible news for 82 is what isn't new. The price, still America's lowest priced, highest mileage 6-passenger front-wheel drive car, the 1982 Dodge Aries K Coupe, America's driving machine.
Just imagine flying to Europe free. Just for flying TWA in the U.S. It's TWA's frequent flight bonus. Fly just 60,000 miles during the next 15 months and get 2 tickets to Europe free. Other bonuses start at just 10,000 miles. TWA, the only airline that offers 2 free tickets to Europe.
You're gonna like us, TWA.
The Derek Dolls, obviously we are in the Astrodome. Second quarter just about to get underway. And Seattle will be punting from their 28-yard line. That's number 8, Jeff West, who's done a fine job for them this year. And West up the elevator shaft. There's a flag down on the play. Carl Roaches fields the punt. Is quickly brought down.
2 flags on the play, Mike.
Jim Jodat is the man credited with stopping Carl Roaches. That punt 45 yards by Jeff West. He was impressive enough during the preseason to allow Jack Patera to get rid of Herman Thunderfoot Weaver, and what West does so well is hang them high.
He's not known for as an average kicker, but last week on 6 punts he averaged almost 45 yards, and he had 3 down inside the 20s. That's an outstanding performance for Jeff West. He didn't play in 1980, was cut by the Chargers. Here's the call by the official.
Illegal block above the waist, in the back, number 20 receiving team, while his kick was in the air. This was a post-possession foul. Will go half the distance from where the ball was caught. First down.
Means the ball will be resting at the 9-yard line. That's where the Oilers will put it in play. Next Sunday, join host Brian Gumbel for NFL 81. All the highlight scores and late-breaking news from all the games. And then regional NFL action featuring a pivotal AFC game in the Central Division. The Steelers and the Bengals square off. Next Sunday, Campbell gets the ball.
Boy, he is an amazing gentleman when you give him the ball 7 or 8 yards deep, and he generates some power in those big legs. He is difficult to bring down. When he needs power up through the middle, he seems to be able to generate it. Yet, when it comes to running the corner, he's got that acceleration.
Doug Sutherland, number 69, is in the game along with Mike White as the 2 defensive tackles for Seattle. On 2nd and 7, the ball at the Houston 10-yard line. Daimler. Quick give to Earl Campbell. First down. Joe Norman drags him down.
You just can't say enough about this guy. 37 carries last week. Look at him get up through that hole. Leon Gray with a good block. And he's always got his shoulders going up the field. And his momentum carries him. 7 carries now, 47. He's got 30 to go to match his performance of, 30 carries to match his performance of last week.
30 times in 51 games in his career, he has topped the 100-yard mark. First and 10 Oilers. Quick give to Campbell, or Tim Wilson, a rare give. It's kind of funny, Bob, after a game, Tim Wilson is more beat up than Campbell is because he does a lot of ferocious blocking.
Yeah, the value of the I formation is that they do what's called lead blocking, and Tim Wilson will be assigned either a defensive lineman or a linebacker and lead Campbell up through the hole. He is the one who really takes the beating when Earl Campbell carries it 37 times. To make it even more amazing, he carried 25 in the first half last week.
2nd and 10 at the Houston 21. 12:50 to go here in the second quarter. The Oilers trail the Seahawks 10-7. Earl outside and dragged out of bounds.
Dips his shoulder, gets underneath the shoulder pads of the tackler. 26.
Kerry
Justin and picks up another 3 yards.
3rd down and 5. Campbell makes no bones about it. He's a happy man once again being reunited with Tim Wilson in the backfield. Eddie Biles abandoned that split back philosophy and sent Rob Carpenter, who was unhappy, to the New York Giants. Kenny Burroughs and Mike Renfro are wide to the left. Flip out to Earl Campbell. John Harris is right there. John Harris, who has had an outstanding year at right safety for the Seahawks, read that play perfectly, and Houston will have to punt.
I believe a rare mental mistake by Earl Campbell. He went outside the block of the offensive guard. Watch number 74, Manu Tuiasosopo, being led inside by Leon Gray, and the pass out in the flat to Campbell. And he goes outside the block and allows Harris to make the tackle as opposed to going up inside the block. 4th down now and 8. And Cliff partially the punt.
Paul Johns is the deep man for Seattle. He's a free agent rookie out of Tulsa. Jerry Rome very high on this man, and a good punt return. As Parsley kicks from his own 13, Johns will field it at the 38. Wiggles his way across the 45-yard line, 46-yard line. Carter Hartwig, number 36, there first. We have 11:43 to go here in the second quarter. The Seahawks on top, 10-7.
When I'm not making music with the Charlie Daniels Band, you'll find me here at home in Tennessee. And where you find me, you'll find my skull. I just take a little pinch and put it between my cheek and gum, and it sure feels good. In fact, I think going smokeless is the only way to go. And my place here, that's something I just can't get too much of.
Enjoy tobacco without lighting up. Try Skoal, Copenhagen, or Happy Days. A pinch is all it takes.
I'd hold you all night, any day of the year. The way that you taste, I love you, my dear. Bull! Why don't you get into the groove? One sip will make it clear the Bull's got more taste than beer. Bye-bye beer.
Yeah.
Hello, Bull. The Schlitz malt liquor Bull is top, so don't say beer, say Bull. Say Schlitz malt liquor Bull.
The Steelers battle the Bengals. The Jets lasso the Bills. The Chargers take on the Colts. The Oilers battle the Patriots. There's a lot to get excited about next Sunday on NBC Sports.
11:43 remaining here in the second quarter in the Astrodome. The Seattle Seahawks on top of the Houston Oilers 10-7. Seattle has the ball at their own 46-yard line. John Sawyer, the tight end, in motion right. As Zorn goes back to pass and finds Sawyer in the right flat, but it is underthrown. Ted Washington on the coverage. From around the league, Kansas City now on top of Oakland, 13-0. A 25-yard field goal by Nick Lowry increased that lead.
Could they be shut out 3 weekends in a row? Wow.
It is possible. Baltimore did the trick. Here's a baseball score, 3-2.
Who's pitching? Jim Palmer versus Tom Seaver at the top of the second inning. Cincinnati leads 3-2 on a tiny bench home run.
McCollum, the motion man. Zorn again back to pass. Screen out to Eric Lane, number 37, and Greg Stemrick. Perfect read by number 27, Stemrick. Undercuts Eric Lane.
Out of the doghouse, I imagine, right now. Did not start today. This is well set up, but Lane is out there unprotected. The defensive line of the Houston Oilers gets out there before the ball is caught. And Stemrick on the stop now. 3rd down and about 13 yards to go.
Ball resting at the 41, 11:01 left to go here in the second quarter. Seahawks facing a 3rd and 15 situation. Lane and Sherman Smith, the running backs. As Zorn goes back to throw.
Who's he throwing it to?
It is intercepted. Carter Hartwig, number 36, picks off Zorn's pass and returns it all the way down to the 29-yard line.
That's the situation in the first quarter that the Seahawks were able to avoid. That was third down and long yardage situation. Houston with a 4-2-5 configuration. 36 yards on the return by Hartwig, and Jim Zorn threw it into a well-covered Sam McCullum. Eric Lane. No way that ball should have been thrown. Look at this. 7 guys back in coverage. Watch the coverage on Lane. No way the ball should have been thrown. Bad choice by Jim Zorn.
Hartwig, a 4-4 man, third-year man out of Southern California, makes the big interception and puts Houston in business on the Seattle 29. Flip to Campbell. And he is smothered.
Joe Norman shot through along with Michael Jackson on the tackle. They had 2 tight ends in there, 2 all-pro tight ends, I might add. Dave Casper and Mike Barber. Watch 52 come through there. Joe Norman, 55 Jackson on the cleanup on 34, Earl Campbell.
And it appears...
lost the 3 yards on the play.
Jack Patera's experiment of moving Tuiasa Sobo out to the defensive end position has paid off. Adger Armstrong now and Ronnie Coleman in the game. Stabler in the shotgun.
Ooh, that didn't work.
Ronnie Coleman was the ball carrier.
So much for the shotgun. This is a Dallas play. Trying to show run off the shotgun. Good catch by Stabler once again, and Kazungi.
The reason more teams don't put it into their offensive philosophy, it is hard to coordinate that center snap. Not many centers can do it, and as you can see, the Oilers shotgun has a few kinks in it yet.
I wonder why they take Earl Campbell out in a shotgun situation and give the ball to Ronnie Coleman. Shotgun again.
Armstrong and Coleman the backs again. Stabler will throw. Looking for Kenny Burrow deep.
Good play.
Outstanding play now. Number 26, Kerry Justin. Justin has some mighty big shoes to fill in the person of Dave Brown, who broke his foot in the opening game against Cincinnati, or his fibula rather.
He stays in good position and does not let the ball get by his body so that Burrows can make a diving desperation catch. We've heard from the Seahawk bench that Robert Hardy is out with a strained ankle, not a sprained ankle, a strained ankle. Probably will not see any more action today.
Cliff Parsley will punt. He has nailed 4 inside the 20-yard line. That obviously will be his intention on this punt. This one bounces at the 19 and out of bounds there.
Inside the 20 by about an inch and a half, Mike.
We have 8:59 to go here in the second quarter. Seahawks on top 10-7.
Can an American driving machine outdistance every Datsun on the highway? If we put a gallon of gas in every Datsun and a gallon in the 1982 Dodge Omni Miser, here's what would happen. One by one, every Datsun would run out. But Omni Miser would keep driving, on and on, because Omni Miser has the highest highway mileage of any 5-passenger American car, and the lowest price. And at $54.99, the 82 Dodge Omni Miser doesn't cost $1 more this year than it cost at the end of last year.
1948. Harry Truman was president. Joe DiMaggio hit 320. Gas was 25 cents a gallon. And Michelin came out with a new kind of tire, the Radial. Over the years, Radials have saved billions of gallons of gas. And today, more than half the tires on the road are Radials. Keep it up, America. The more we ride on Radials, the more fuel we save. Michelin's been making the tire for the 80s since 1948. Michelin, we put America on Radials.
Remember, coming up next on NBC, the 5th and decisive game in that National League Western Division Series. The Astros going with Nolan Ryan against the Dodgers and Jerry Royce. Plus, they will be bringing you updates of the Expos Phillies score. That is immediately after this game. So stay with us. Seahawks lead 10-7 here in the second quarter. They have the ball at the Houston at their own 19. Largent in motion.
Whoops.
Sam McCullum. the ball away from Sam McCullum, and Greg Bingham on the spot made the interception.
Mike, the amazing thing about that play is that Greg Bingham was 50 yards down the field. It was a fake into the line of scrimmage, something made famous a couple of weeks ago by the New York Jets. Watch this. Sherman Smith into the line, back to Zorn. He has to avoid a pass rusher, and that destroys the timing of the play. McCullum waits for the ball. He should have tried to come back for it, but Bingham 50 yards downfield on the interception.
Bingham, his second interception of the year, his 19th in his distinguished 9-year career.
We've had an update on Pat Hayden out of New York now. It's not a broken leg, just a bad contusion. Quarterback of the Los Angeles Rams.
Stabler throwing it 1st and 10 to Earl Campbell over the left side. Skirts past one man. He's got the first down in near midfield. At the ball is spotted at the 48-yard line. Manu Tuiasosopo drags him down from behind. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is KING-TV, Channel 5, Seattle.
A gain of 14 yards by Earl Campbell on that pass reception from Kenny Stabler. There you see our score with 8-11 in the second quarter, 10-7. That is Campbell's longest reception of the year. Houston first down at their own 49. Gives to Campbell behind Tim Wilson. He bangs it into Seattle territory. A gain of 4 yards, second down and 6.
Mike Jacob Green, number 79, almost caught that play from the back. Came around the block of the offensive tackle, raced down the line, and he does have outstanding speed. And now you've got to favor the Houston Oilers, picking up good first down yardage. Stabler now 6 of 9 for 64 yards. Here's Jack Patera talking to Jim Zorn. I think Mr. Patera is probably telling Mr. Zorn that ball should not have been thrown. You should have eaten it or run with it.
Campbell, first down. He is something else. Gary Justin was there finally to stop Campbell, but not after he picked up the first down.
Campbell now 11 carries, 59 yards in the first half.
Come up, here we go.
62 yards.
Why that I formation is so effective for him. It gives him a chance to read the defensive line play, and he likes to make cutbacks.
And he looks like he's dead on his feet, and they hand him the ball, and he runs for 15 yards.
First and 10 at the 40. Stabler will throw again. To Burrow. Ball slightly underthrown. Kenny Burrow can't hang on. Had he done so, it would have been a marvelous reception.
Gregory Johnson starting in place of Ken Easley. Easley still out with that bad ankle. They could certainly use him in this game. He's Mike, last year, Ken Easley and Hugh Green, I thought, were the two most dominating defensive football players I had seen in 8 or 10 or maybe even 15 years of college football. Easley played every spot, and so did Hugh Green, and they seemed to just be everywhere. It looked like there was more than one of them.
Stabler's stats on the day, 6 for 10 and 65 yards, certainly an improvement over last week. Second and 10 at the 40, give to Campbell. Rolls his way for 8 yards down to the 32, 33-yard line. Joe Norman was there, and Keith Butler, number 53. Third down, 3 at the 33. 6:10 to go here, second quarter.
Campbell so slow getting up.
Well, I lived in Cleveland, Ohio as a youngster, and my big hero was Jim Brown. And number 32 used to do the same thing. Conserve that energy and then burst.
That's one of the reasons that Campbell gained so many yards. A blocker like Dave Casper. I think you and I could gain 1,000 yards behind him.
Campbell. Uncanny knack of getting something out of nothing there. It is close to the first down. It is. So Houston has a first down at the Seattle 30-yard line. They trail by 3, 5:24 to go here in the second quarter.
He is the leading rusher in the AFC with a 4.4-yard average, 116 carries, 512 yards going into this game. He's had just 2 100-yard games so far this season.
Ed Biles has given him a breather, and Adger Armstrong, number 39, is in the game. Second-year man out of Texas A&M.
I would expect to pass. Armstrong is an exceptional receiver out of the backfield.
Catchable ball by 0-0, and he can't hang on. It'll be 3rd and 10. Second and 10.
And the Houston Oilers are very, very bad at converting second and third down plays into first down plays. Last week they just 1 of 13, and they've converted just 11 third downs, although this is second down, 11 third downs into first downs in this first 5 weeks of the season.
Campbell returns to the lineup, and Armstrong returns to the bench. Renfro in the slot, and Burrow wide right. And Stabler will throw.
Ball hit by number 70, Mike White of the Seattle Seahawks. He hit, I believe, Stabler's arm.
White, a third-year man out of Albany State, gives Seattle a little more muscle up front. He goes 266 pounds. Acquired from the Cincinnati Bengals. Ronnie Coleman now has checked back in, as has Armstrong. 3rd and 10 at the Seattle 30. Shotgun. Stabler to Coleman. First down.
Great catch. Coleman went to the depth of the defensive backs there and just stopped dead. And you can see that the center now, David Carter, getting the hang of the snap. But look at that, right in the dead spot of the zone. Good concentration on the football.
Coleman, an unsung player, 8th-year man, powerfully built out of Alabama A&M. 11 yards on that pass reception from Stabler.
Now I would imagine they would go to Earl Campbell time and time again.
It's at the 19, the ball, resting. But not for long, as the give is to Campbell. Cuts it back inside and breaks 2 tackles. Down to the 14-yard line. 2nd down and 6. Ball spotted at the 15.
14 carries now, 77 yards for Campbell.
If you've just joined us, the Seattle Seahawks got on top quickly, 10-0. A Herrera field goal, followed up by a touchdown pass. Jim Zorn to David Hughes. Campbell gets the call again. And he's down around the 10-yard line. Mike White, number 70, there to make the stop.
You know, for the last 3 years, people in jest have called the Houston Oilers the Houston Oilers. I think they should seriously consider changing the name to the Houston Oilers.
Joe Norman, the man on the ground.
Joe's not quite as big as their normal starting inside linebacker there. You see him, number 58, Terry Beeson. 6'1", about 220. Beeson weighs about 10 or 15 pounds more.
As we wait for the prognosis on Norman's injury, we'll be back after these messages.
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
Schlitz is downright good. I think it's even better than Miller.
I'm from Germany. I do think I know a bit about beer, and this is really good beer.
Hey, I'm loyal to my bud, but I think Schlitz beat it out.
I like the taste of Schlitz. It's as simple as that.
In 40 years as a master brewer, this Schlitz is my smoothest. Have you tasted my Schlitz?
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
Hey, Sheriff, you hear about Big A Auto Parts? Yeah, Big A saying they always had the part, and that's suspicious.
When you check out Big A, you'll find every Big A Auto Parts store has an incredible system that keeps up with all the parts they sell. And replacements are delivered every day, so they'll always have the part you need when you need it.
Hey, you. Well, Sheriff, I see you finally found something crooked.
Big A Auto Parts. We've got it.
What a lineup next Saturday on NBC Sports, starting at 1 p.m. with a fourth game of the National League Championship Series if necessary. And then the stakes are high with the World Driving Championship up for grabs at the Caesars Palace Grand Prix. That will be live from Las Vegas. And then later at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, the final battle of the American League pennant races if that series runs 5 games. Now that's all next Saturday on NBC Sports. 3rd and 1 for Houston. Campbell, first down, and more.
Amazing. The Oilers in that situation put in several different people. Adger Armstrong replaces a wide receiver. And they bring in Angelo Fields. Look at the driving power in this guy's legs. Just splits 2 tacklers. Oh, boy. I'm glad I'm up here in the booth. 16 carries, 86 yards. 14 will give him 100 for the second straight week in the first half.
Houston's offensive front people have been maligned some this season, but they're doing an excellent job of paving the way for Mr. Campbell. First down and 4. 2-minute warning here in the Astrodome. The Seahawks lead the Oilers 10-7. We'll be right back after this.
George said, we're going to buy a Corona portable kerosene heater. And I said, it'll smell funny. It doesn't. I said, it's dangerous. But George showed me the UL sticker. I said, bet it's dirty. It's not. George said, we'll save lots of money on heat. And we have. George is usually wrong. But I gotta admit, he sure knows his hot air. Cozy up to Corona. Stay warm and safe.
It's time to bring some sanity and reason to new car prices. For 1982, Chrysler Corporation is offering some of its most popular front-wheel drive, high-mileage cars at 1981 prices. For 82, Chrysler introduces the lowest priced 6-passenger front-wheel drive cars, America's lowest priced 5-passenger front-wheel drive cars, and the lowest priced full-size pickup. For 82 cars at 81 prices, come to Dodge or Chrysler Plymouth.
The stage is now set for what may well be the most dramatic season finale in the history of Grand Prix auto racing, as 3 of the world's top drivers battle for racing's most coveted title, the Caesars Palace Grand Prix, live next Saturday on NBC Sports World.
First-year head coach Ed Biles looking on with some concern as his Oilers have a first-and-goal situation on the 4. Crazy George taking care of the crowd. Oilers have a chance to jump back on top in this game with a touchdown. Stabler gives to Carroll Campbell. Campbell's very close to that end zone. Jacob Green was there.
Oh, he didn't make it. Here comes the big guys. Angelo Fields, Mike Barber, the backup tight end, and Adger Armstrong into the offense now for the Oilers. Put a little more meat in that offensive line.
Especially in the person of Mr. Fields, 6'6", 319 pounds, the second-year man out of Michigan State. Second and less than a yard. Campbell, touchdown. Number 34 banging over the right side of the Seattle line.
You notice he's the only running back in the backfield, and obviously a touchdown.
Tony Fritsch on to attempt the extra point. If he can convert this, he'll be 10 for 10. And he'll put the Oilers on top by 4. His kick hits the upright. We a minute and 16 remaining here in the first half, and now the Oilers, after trailing early 10-0, are ahead 14-10. We'll be back.
Takes two wheels to have some fun, and you need two more to get the job done. But what can you do with three? Just try the Honda ATC.
11 years ago, Honda invented the ATC three-wheeler. And ever since, folks have been inventing new ways to use it.
Follow the leader, he's on a Honda.
Hi. Fill her up and check the oil, please.
You bet, Mr. Palmer.
Is that Arnold Palmer?
Billy, he's going to want Pennzoil.
Can I get it, Dad?
Sure, go on. You don't need any oil today, Mr. Palmer.
He doesn't.
Here, Billy, let me have that Pennzoil. You can keep it till next time.
Thanks.
Gas-saving Pennzoil. Quality in every extra mile.
This telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League, and it is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Houston Oilers and the National Football League is prohibited. There you see our score and time remaining here in the first half. Oilers capped that drive with a 1-yard Earl Campbell touchdown run. Will Lewis and Gregory Johnson, the deep men for Seattle. Rich pops one up to Johnson at his 19. Across the 30, 34-yard line, Rich Tomaselli, rookie running back, who's released earlier by the Oilers and then picked up when Carpenter was traded to the Giants, made the stop. Time of possession last 7:31, 14 plays, 66 yards. That's what Houston does best.
Mike, both teams now have 3 timeouts left in this final 2 minutes. Actually make it 1 minute and 10 seconds.
Seattle in business at the 34. Three wide receivers for Seattle. Kraft, the extra one, number 89, he's flank left. Zorn underneath to David Hughes, trying to make a move on Stemrick, but Stemrick does not bite the bait and makes a very sure tackle. Loss of 2 on the play, 2nd down and 12. Clock now running at 44 seconds. Zorn again underneath, this time to Sherman Smith. Sherman Smith breaks loose from Greg Bingham, makes the first down at 47-yard line. J.C. Wilson there.
Now the timeout by Seattle. All they need to do is get about another 25 yards, and they're in Efren Herrera range. 13 yards on the catch by Sherman Smith. First down, Seattle.
United Way, information referral. May I help you?
That's the beginning, that first call. And this is where people who need help can get in touch with the agencies and professional services that can help.
Hi, I'm Tim Wilson of Youth Owners, and this is United Way Information Referral Program.
As a United Way volunteer, Tim Wilson knows how important information and referral can be. And at the United Way supported Information and Referral Agency, he's seen it work. This young boy involved in drugs and his parents both need help. Help that can mean the difference between life or death to someone. But where do they turn? Who will help?
Come on, people, get off my kid.
They're like thousands who call United Way supported information and referral agencies every day, helping people find answers. Thanks to them and
thanks to you, it works for all of us. United Way.
The preceding announcement was furnished as a public service by the National Football League. Now look at Tim Wilson, Earl Campbell's main man. He's a lot like Jim Braxton was for O.J. Simpson.
Unselfish running back. Wilson doesn't mind blocking for Earl Campbell as long as Earl Campbell coughs up a watch every other year.
Zorn on the day, 11 for 17, 102 yards. He wants points here, though, before the half end. He will throw. Almost intercepted again by Mike Reinfeldt. Reinfeldt. Reinfeldt, from his free safety position, usually gets a lot of interceptions. He has yet to record one this season, however.
Mike, I have a feeling that the best thing that Seattle can do is you watch Herrera warm up for what would be an out-of-sight place kick. They're going to have to keep throwing it to the running backs and 2 or 3 yards down the field and have them run, because with 7 guys back in coverage, there's just no place back there to throw it. So he's got to keep giving it to Smith short and hope he can run for 15 yards.
31 seconds remain. 2nd down and 10. Out to David Hughes. Out of bounds and stops the clock before he was collared very rudely by Vernon Perry, number 32.
Now, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Seattle might not come back with the very same play. He's wide open. The closest man is about 7 yards away when the pass is caught, but he closes quickly to make the tackle, stops the clock, gets out of bounds. 3rd down now and about 3. I think the same play would work again.
Efren Herrera, number 1, is now the 2nd in all-time NFL career field goal percentage. He qualified last week by converting his 100th field goal.
Isn't Tony Fritz first?
Number 1, you're right.
For the Houston Oilers.
3rd and 4. Zorn's got Largent.
Oh!
Largent put a whale of a move on number 33, J.C. Wilson.
What he did was absolutely beautiful. He ran the pattern deep enough to get Wilson in the 3rd base box, which is dirt, and Wilson couldn't keep his feet. But the problem was Largent could not see the ball thrown by Jim Zorn, and therefore it's a very, very tough reception to make. If you can't see the quarterback throw the ball, see it leave his hands, it's normally very, very tough to catch.
So Jeff West will have to punt on 4th down and 4. He is back at his own 38-yard line.
The Oilers are expecting something funny here. Whoa!
West had to go high for the punt and shanks it out of bounds.
That's about 8 yards on that punt.
Fortunately for Seattle, only 14 seconds remain here. A 9-yard punt by Jeff West.
Well, he does a good job to catch it, first of all. And then he had more time, but he just hurried a little bit, shanked off his foot. 9 yards on the punt. Houston takes over at their own 43-yard line.
Remember, coming up at halftime, Brian Gumbel in New York with all the scores and highlights from today's game around the National Football League. Stabler looking, he's got Pinborough flagged down.
Illegal man downfield, Houston.
It has been an interesting first half indeed. We have seen Houston diversify their offense. We have seen Seattle be able to control the ball. They too have been very different in their play calling.
Ineligible downfield, number 58 on the offense.
David Carter, the center.
Looking for his first pass reception ever. They will not allow it, of course. He was open, I understand.
He's got a lot of things to think about. Snapping on the shotgun. Stabler paying it safe. Hands off to Ronnie Coleman, number 47. And time has expired here in the first half of play at the Astrodome. The Seahawks jumped on top first, 10-0. A Herrera field goal, a touchdown reception by David Hughes, but the Oilers came right back. First, Kenny Burroughs on a 31-yard touchdown reception on a broken play from Ken Stabler, and then Earl Campbell made it 14-10 with his 1-yard touchdown run.
Campbell has carried the ball in the first half 18 times for 91 yards. Last week he carried it 25 times.
Well, that's the end of the first half. The Oilers lead 14-10. We'll be back with some halftime highlights.
The new generation of Dodge Rams made an X-Ford on route of me, and now Dodge has come up with this new Ram Miser. Beautiful inside and out. And Ram Miser gives Dodge the biggest increase in gasoline mileage of all full-size pickups. Take it from an ex-Ford owner. Nobody gives you so much for so little. Hard to believe it's America's lowest priced pickup. Equipped, not stripped.
Dodge trucks are Ram tough.
No bull control, Alex Karras. Getting me up.
Drop in for a drink, Alex.
I'll have a beer.
Bull.
Bull? Once with a bull's enough.
No, the Schlitz Malt Liquor Bull. It's got more taste than beer. In fact, once you taste it, you may never go back to beer.
This is... Don't miss all the excitement of the League Championship Series. They're the best teams in their respective divisions. The winner goes into the World Series. Then Saturday, it's NBC Sports World as the world's finest Grand Prix drivers battle live for auto racing's most coveted title in the Caesars Palace Grand Prix. Plus Sunday, our continuing coverage of hard-hitting NFL football. All this week on NBC Sports.
It is halftime here in the Astrodome. The Oilers lead the Seahawks 14-10, Bob. And we were very concerned about the Houston Oilers before this game. Kenny Stabler-led teams had lost 5 consecutive times to the Seahawks. The Oilers were whitewashed practically last year, 26-7. It looked perhaps that it would start that way again as Seattle jumped on top quickly 10-7 or 10-0. But the Oilers came back.
Yeah, Seattle has been a very quick starting team. And they did in all kinds of things. They had lots of motion inside and out, and they had Sherman Smith catching the ball very well, along with Hughes. Campbell finally began to show himself, and of course the Houston Oilers unveiled the shotgun for the first time. Rather surprising. I think it took the Seattle Seahawks by surprise. Interesting to note, in the second half, through 5 games, the Seattle Seahawks have scored a grand total of 20 points. 3 points only in the fourth quarter, so they do not play well in the second half. I imagine Jack Pateri very concerned right now.
Efren Herrera got the Seahawks on the board first with a field goal, and then it was David Hughes who was making his very first National Football League start, catching this touchdown pass from Jim Zorn.
Good coverage, but you see Hughes uncovered there. They did not expect him. He's a new man in the lineup, and they don't know what he can do. He was a second-round draft choice out of Boise State, and he can catch the ball very well. Seattle hasn't run the ball too well, but they've mixed it up with good short passes and a couple of screens to Sherman Smith, and he's their big man. If they can get him on track in the second half, I think Seattle's still in this ballgame.
Last week, the Houston Oilers went to Earl Campbell 37 times. He responded with over 180 yards. This afternoon, they have again used him, but because of the shotgun, which we had no idea that the Oilers would unveil, they have been a little bit more diversified.
Yeah, in the first half, Campbell's carried the ball 18 times for 91 yards. And last week, he carried the ball 25 times in the first half. So, and Eddie Vile said before the game, we can't do that to Earl Campbell every week. As a matter of fact, there were people here in the Astrodome who were booing the fact that they continually gave the ball to Earl Campbell. They thought that was terrible misuse of the Tyler Road. So today with the shotgun, they're a much more diversified offense.
The Oilers' first touchdown pass, oddly enough, came on a 4th and less than a yard situation. Earl Campbell did not get the ball. Kenny Stabler threw the play-action pass.
Well, obviously, Seattle is trying to stop the 1 yard, and they just busted a coverage. It was obviously a broken play. Stabler looking around. Burrow's got on top of the coverage, and he's standing wide open 5 yards from the end zone. It was a poorly thrown ball, but Burrow's made a good adjustment to it and got it in.
For Kenny Burrow, his 46th career touchdown pass that leaves him only 5 behind the great Charlie Hennigan. What can we look for in the second half, Bob?
Let's see. I believe Houston gets the ball first. So the first thing Seattle must do is guard against the long return. The Houston Oilers lead the NFL in kickoff and punt returns. That could break the back of the Seattle Seahawks. They're going to kick the ball off. Secondly, I think they've showed great patience. They haven't really done anything wrong. I think Jim Zorn made 2 bad mistakes. He threw the ball up twice, and both times they were interceptions. You take away the 2 interceptions, I think Seattle's out in front 10-0. But those mistakes made by Jim Zorn have given the Houston Oilers some momentum. So Seattle must come out, keep the ball after, hopefully, they shut down the kickoff return by Roaches or Tullis, and then try for time possession. Obviously, Campbell's going to be the big man again today. They got to keep the ball out of his hands.
Today has been a game where both coaches have been experimenting. The Houston Oilers with the shotgun and Jack Patera with a couple new defensive linemen. NFL 81 halftime activities will continue in a moment. We'll be right back.
A threat to her family heritage sends Betty Davis on a quest.
There's a dream I have.
A dream of uniting a family torn by greed yet reaching for love.
with gaps across the generations and misunderstandings across the years. The joy and pain of all families is shared by the Winfields. Family Reunion, a world premiere Sunday.
United's Friendship Express. United just took the restrictions out of low-fare flying. We're offering dramatic reductions throughout the West. Fly to San Francisco for as low as $79. Los Angeles as low as $109. San Diego as low as $119. Every seat's available at these low fares with no advance purchase or length of stay requirements. And remember, you're not just flying for less. You're flying United for less.
Fly the friendly skies.
Thanks, Nick.
Okay, Murph.
We just got these posters on our big Union 76 Fall Value Carnivals. That means good values for your car and you. Like Union's 4-star all-season radial, one of our most popular tires. In all sizes, especially priced starting at $39.95 plus tax.
And a lot of other super values, too, on products and services. So this fall, why not put a little more spirit in your car?
Thanks, Nick.
Go with the spirit.
Don't miss the Union 76 Fall Value Carnival.
The spirit of 76.
There's a flavor to this kind of country. A flavor so unique, it's gotta be Canadian.
And when good times are near, you know that it's clear. If you're looking for the flavor of the country to savor, nothing else really comes near to the great taste of Canadian. Molson Canadian, Canada's kind of beer.
A port in a storm tonight at 6.
Have a 14-10 halftime lead. As we mentioned at the top of the telecast, today is a very big day on NBC Sports. In addition to all the football games that are going on, immediately after this game, you will be seeing the decisive 5th game of that National League Western Division Series between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Houston Astros. The Astros, after winning 2 straight, have lost 2 straight, so today should be a whale of a ball game. Elsewhere around the National Football League, of course, the big game that is of much concern to the Houston Oilers fans, Cleveland-Pittsburgh. At Three Rivers Stadium, the Steelers lead the Browns in a very tight contest, 10-7 in the third quarter.
So far, Bradshaw's thrown a 9-yard pass to Stallworth, a field goal by Dave Prout, and a 29-yard pass to Ozzie Newsome from Brian Sipin. That's been the scoring.
The Jets look for real. They're on top of New England 28-14 after that marvelous overtime tie last week.
The Jets got a 44-yard reception or interception returned by Darrell Ray, and they're up 28-14 in the third quarter.
The Washington Redskins, or rather the Kansas City Chiefs, on top of the Oakland Raiders, 20-0 in the third quarter. Could it be, as you mentioned before, Oakland getting shut out third consecutive time?
You know, they made a lot of changes, too, on the Oakland football team. Gene Upshaw was set down for the first time in like 205 games, and so far it has not helped. Bill Kinney, a 4-yard pass to Henry Marshall, was the final touchdown. They're in the third period.
And a whale of a ball game going on here. The Atlanta Falcons on top of the Los Angeles Rams, 28-27. Pat Hayden left the game with a bruised leg and was replaced by Jeff Rutledge.
Initially reported as a broken leg. We now find out it's a contusion. The last scoring play for the Atlanta Falcons, Bartkowski, an 8-yard pass to Alfred Jackson, and they're now in front 28-27, and there's 5:37 left in the third quarter.
Of course, the winner there will be atop the NFC's Western Division, and Philadelphia unbeaten in 5 games, having no problems with the New Orleans Saints, 31-7 in the fourth quarter.
As a matter of fact, the final touchdown, or the last touchdown scored by Philadelphia, Frank LeMaster, a 47-yard return with a fumble recovery. So obviously the New Orleans Saints still having all kinds of problems, and they were on top. They scored first. George Rogers, a 5-yard run.
The game between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Colts started out like a baseball game, 3-2 in the second quarter. Now Cincinnati has gone on top 17-5, and it looks like those Cincinnati Bengals of yours, Bob, are for real.
They do lead with 21 seconds to go in the first half. Interesting that the final touchdown of the first half was a 20-yard pass from Ken Anderson to David Verser, the first-round draft choice out of Kansas. That's just his 3rd reception on the year. His first is a touchdown, and he's the 3rd leading kickoff return man in the AFC, and that's what he's been relegated to. So finally, he breaks the ice.
And also their second-round draft choice, Chris Collingsworth, caught a touchdown pass from Kenny Anderson as well. they could move to 5-2 today. Battle between the Bays, Green Bay, and Tampa Bay in the NFC Central Division is tied at 7 in the second quarter. Chicago 1-4 going into this game. The Washington Redskins have not won a game yet this year, but they are on top 10-0. Elsewhere around the league, Cleveland, as we mentioned, on top or trailing Pittsburgh 10-7. That game is now in the fourth quarter. The Jets on top of the New England Patriots 28-21. This 1981 National Football League game is brought to you by Michelob Light, an exceptional light beer with a rich, smooth taste. By the new Chrysler Corporation. For 1982, Chrysler has the cars, the quality, and the prices America needs. By the makers of Skoal, Copenhagen, and Happy Days, the smokeless tobaccos. And by Owens Corning Fiberglass Corporation, makers of Owens Corning Pink Fiberglass Insulation.
We'll open your eyes to a rainbow. Open your eyes to sound. We'll open your eyes to tomorrow today. Just take a look at RCA. We'll open your eyes to remote possibilities. Open your eyes in hundreds of ways. We'll open your eyes, RCA.
Compare dandruff shampoos. There's good, there's better, and then there's blue. Selsun Blue, the best dandruff shampoo money can buy. Clinical testing proved it works best with more complete dandruff control than any leading shampoo. Only Selsun Blue has the anti-dandruff ingredient doctors prescribe most. Remember, there's good, there's better, and there's blue. Selsun Blue. It simply works the best.
Summer's gone, and guess who's just around the corner? But before old man Winter's fuel bills get you, it's Think Pink time. Just enough time for you to get Owens Corning fiberglass insulation and add an extra money-saving layer to your attic. Think Pink time is now. Get your pink Owens Corning today.
Take a look at the halftime stats compiled by both the Seahawks and the Oilers, Bob. Fairly even in the first down department.
The Oilers with that one possession that led to a touchdown, 7 minutes and 32 seconds, I think, accounted for the difference in time. But look at the yards rushing.
The Seahawks had only been averaging 84 yards per game rushing, and they are doing a little bit better, not much better, 34 yards. So they have been very poor in that department. The yards, 89 by the Oilers, but Earl Campbell has done most of that.
Yeah, he's got 91. So they had a couple of guys who were tackled behind the line of scrimmage.
First down plays, Seattle has had a 6.8-yard average. The Oilers averaging 3.8 yards.
I repeat, Mike, that one of the problems that the Seahawks have in the previous 5 weeks of this 81 season is that they have scored a grand total of 20 points in the second half, 17 in the third quarter, just 3 in the fourth quarter. And they're in this ball game. If they, as I said at halftime, if they don't allow a big return, which has turned on Houston for a couple of 3 weeks now, at the opening of the second half, I think they're going to be all right. Well, Seattle's playing decent ball.
Seattle has been in virtually all the games that they have lost. In the opener against Cincinnati, as you look at Tim Wilson and Earl Campbell loosen each other up for the start of the second half. Seahawks led 21-0 against Cincinnati in the opener, only to lose 27-0. They were close against Oakland, 20-10. They had a chance to beat Kansas City, 2014. They lost there, and they lost 24-10 last week against San Diego, but they were inside the San Diego 5 twice and couldn't punch it in. Remember, coming up next immediately after this game, the National League Division Series, Western Division Series, 5th and final game between the Astros and the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Interesting to know, too, that the Dodgers are 2-15 in Dodger Stadium against the Dodgers, but they've got their hot man, Nolan Ryan, who I believe in the last 5 starts has probably been the... did I make a mistake? I mean, the Astros are 2-15 in Dodger Stadium. If I said the Dodgers, I apologize for that. But Nolan Ryan in his last 5 starts has been absolutely awesome. And if he can come close to the feat that he pulled here in the Astrodome a couple of weeks ago, and that was a no-hitter against the same Dodgers, they will be playing baseball once again here in the Astrodome next week.
Certainly a big weekend of sports for this very sports-oriented city. They have the Astros in contention and the Oilers on top here in the second half, 14-10. Jim Zorn warning up with the third-string quarterback for Seattle, number 17, Dave Krieg. Oilers will receive the kickoff. And back deep, the dangerous Willie Tullis, number 20, who returned 195 yards against the Rams in the opener. And number 85, Carl Roaches, a 96-yard one for a touchdown last week in a 17-10 win against the Bengals. Herrera set to kick off. Again, very short, high, end over end, fielded by Roaches at his 12. And
good
pulled
coverage
down, but from behind. Right you are, Bob. Great special teams coverage provided by number 25, Don Dufek. Look at the offensive situation for the Oilers. Stabler, Wilson, and Campbell. Those are the main people for Houston. Kenny Burrow, Mike Renfro, and Dave Casper, the wide receivers and tight ends. And the offensive line, Gray and Morris Towns, the big tackles for Houston. 6 yards in that return by Roaches. Houston first and 10 at their own 19-yard line. I formation, Campbell and Wilson, the setbacks. Flip to Earl Campbell. And dragged from behind by Mike Jackson. Let's go to Byron Day in New York. He's got an update.
Okay, Michael, thank you very much. At Three River Stadium, the Steelers continue to roll against the Browns. Bradshaw up top, 43 yards to Lynn Swan. Puts them in great position. They still lead 10-7 now in the fourth quarter. Let's go back to Mike Adamle and Bob Trumpet.
Thank you, Byron. Of course, that Pittsburgh-Cleveland score of great concern. Steelers tied with the Oilers coming into this game 3-2 atop the AFC's West Division, 2nd and 13. Campbell again gets the call. And number 53, Keith Butler, the fourth-year man out of Memphis State, pulls Campbell down, but there is a flag on the play.
Boy, the Seahawks are incensed. They run a sweep to the right, and they stop it. They run a sweep to the left. I think that's delay of game. Earl Campbell spiked the ball on the ground, and that is an automatic delay of game. 5-yard penalty. Good call by the official, and the Seahawks thought that they were going to be penalized. No.
Number 34 offense.
Spiking the football. When there is not timeout, you're not in the end zone. You cannot spike the football. Now watch, this is great coverage by Butler, and the Seahawks seem to have straightened out their problems outside underneath the block of Leon Gray. He goes down, but when he gets up, watch what he does. Well, we don't have it that far, but he gets up and spikes the ball on the ground, 5-yard penalty.
Third down and 23 now as they give to Azure Armstrong. Stabler staying conservative with his back against the wall. And Seattle comes up with a mighty big defensive stand to start this second quarter. So Cliff Parsley will have to punt, and he'll have to do it from inside his end zone.
That should be a good psychological lift for Seattle. Get the ball in decent field position if they do not have any problems. The Seattle return man is standing at the 45-yard line of the Houston Oilers.
And that's Paul Johns, number 85, the free agent from Tulsa, who backs up Steve Largent as a wide receiver. Parsley gets it off. It is high and drives Johns back to his 47 across midfield, and there he is stopped by number 58, the center, David Carter, who has been a busy man all afternoon. 46-yard punt and a 7-yard return by Paul Johns. So Seattle with excellent field position. They have the ball at the 47-yard line of Houston. They trail the Oilers by 4. We'll be back.
Fuel economy, value for your money. That's what you'll find in all new General Motors cars and trucks at GM dealers. You'll also find a financial institution whose only business is automotive financing. That's GMAC. You know, even when money is tight, credit is available from GMAC and at rates that make good sense. Ask a GM dealer about GMAC, the financing people from General Motors.
Hey, Michelob Light for the winning team, okay? You guys would do that for us?
Would a bunch of guys really go at it this hard just for a beer? Well, consider it's Michelob Light, and that means a rich, smooth taste you can compare to any beer you like.
You guys never played like that before.
Hey, we never played for a Michelob Light before.
Michelob Light. Compare the taste.
This is Byron Day in New York. David Trout has just kicked a 23-yard field goal for the Steelers. Steelers now on top in the fourth quarter, 13-7. The jinx still holds at Three Rivers for the Browns. Let's go back to Mike Adamle.
Thank you, Byron. Here in the Houston Astrodome, the Oilers lead 14-10, but the Seattle Seahawks have excellent field position in Houston territory at the 47, and it looks like that jinx continues. They have never won in Three Rivers Stadium, the Cleveland Browns, and 13-7 now. It looks...
You're talking about the Cardiac Kids, though, with the weapons they have offensively with Sight, Newsome, Logan. You can never count the Cleveland Browns out.
Zorn on 1st and 10. Fakes the draw to Sherman Smith and is in big trouble. Andy Dorrance, number 69, a man to reach him there. And that is his very first sack of the season.
That is also the first sack of the day by the Houston Oilers defense, and he had nobody to throw it to. Elvin Bethea, the old man, with good pressure there, and Andy Dorrance finally cleans up. A little half roll, kind of a sprint draw. Lost of 12 yards on the play. The sprint roll, which Seattle does very well. Of course, he's left-handed, Zorn is, so he rolls to the right, which is somewhat out of the ordinary.
Doris, Kennard, and Bethea, the up-front people for Houston's defensive line, and they are very capable. Brazil, the all-pro at the right, outside linebacker. On 2nd and 22, and Zorn will throw again. He's in trouble. He's got David Hughes across the middle, number 46. Robert Brazil bangs him to the ground. This kid has been impressive. This kid has been very impressive.
He had 5 catches in the first half in his first start. Look at the pressure that Zorn gets and still gets it off. He's in the grasp, and hello, how are you?
Again, Andy Dorrance, number 69, who has played some great football the last couple of years for the Oilers since he went on that weight program to boost him up to 262, ninth-year veteran out of New Mexico State. Zorn is now faced, though, with a 3rd and 11 situation at his 48.
Houston with 5 defensive backs, Mike.
To throw and...
throw a flag. Oh, no! Whoa!
The ball was intended for number 89, Mark McGrath, but J.C. Wilson, number 33, was there on the play.
We have a flag on the other side of the field, but I think you're going to see that J.C. Wilson pulls the old defensive back trick. Puts one hand around the receiver, has the other hand on the receiver's back. Let's see if we can pick it up. Now, I think his right arm was spinning Mr. Largent around, but nevertheless, it's still a penalty on the Houston Oilers. 5 yards, first down.
Holding number 27 defense, first down.
That's clear over here on the other side of the field against Greg Stemrick.
In the fourth quarter, the Kansas City Chiefs are whopping all over the Oakland Raiders 27-0, and Tom Flores has finally replaced his quarterback star of a year ago, Jim Plunkett, with the BYU ace, Mark Wilson.
No kidding. Wow, isn't that something? A possible 3rd straight week shutout. That's a defending world champions, too. You're not playing a bunch of chumps.
1st and 10, Seattle. At the Houston 43, again the play action.
Oh, well set up.
Sherman Smith has 3 blockers out in front of him. Inside the 35. Robert Brazil there to make the stop on Sherman Smith. Darrell Hunt was also there.
Doing a good job. Seattle, or Houston now going exclusively with the 4-2-5 configuration. And Seattle just taking advantage of it. That's 12 yards on the pass and catch by Sherman Smith. Another first down. And once again, Seattle showing great patience, Mike, in this drive. Spreading it around, this person to that person. Not being too impatient.
As long as they can stay mistake-free, they're in this ball game. Ball at the 32-yard line. 11:11 to go here in the third quarter. Seahawks trail by 4 as Zorn will throw again. Margin covered by J.C. Wilson. The ball not particularly well thrown by Jim Zorn.
Strong safety blitz by Houston. 32 Vernon Perry up through the middle, and he had to rush it because Vernon Perry was right in his face.
This number 33, J.C. Wilson, is one of the most underrated quarterbacks, I think, in the National Football League. He is a fourth-year man out of Pittsburgh, 1 interception this year. And he usually gets the tough coverage man, usually the man like the stalwarts and the largest of this league.
Agreed. Big down here, 2nd 10. They got to pick up about half of it. Houston with that 4-2-5 configuration again.
Give it to David Hughes. Gets inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. Jesse Baker, number 75, was there. So was Carter Hartwig.
Mike, I'll tell you what, with the way Houston sets up that defense, they have their 2 inside linebackers setting outside the offensive guards. I think an outstanding play would be a quarterback draw, and Zorn is an excellent runner. There's nobody there to take him because the 2 inside linebackers are assigned to the 2 running backs. Let's see if we can see the same configuration. There's nobody over center defensively.
On 3rd and 7. McCullum motion left. Zorn will throw. Quick one out to Sherman Smith, but Carter Hartwig.
Great tackle.
Nobody was about to fool number 36. Carter Hartwig, 3rd-year man out of USC with a lot of speed. Let's watch it again.
Middle linebacker blitz by number 54, Greg Bingham. Hurries the throw of Jim Zorn. And this is an outstanding open field tackle by Hartwig. The running backs in normal situations are supposed to break those tackles. So Efren Herrera in for a field goal attempt of 29, 39, and 7, 46 yards.
A statistic we mentioned earlier, Efren Herrera qualified last week as the all-time NFL career field goal percentage leader. Tony Fritsch, the leader, at 68.87. Herrera from 47 yards away. Zorn puts it down. The kick is short. So the Seattle Seahawks unable to capitalize on their great field position at the Houston 47-yard line. Come up short on a Herrera field goal. They still trail the Oilers by 4.
New Backwoods Smokes just hit town. Looking wild, but tasting mild.
New Backwoods Smokes. How can anything that looks so wild taste so mild? New Backwoods Smokes. How can anything that looks so wild taste so mild?
New Backwoods Smokes. All natural tobacco, hand-rolled look in a keep 'em fresh pocket pouch.
How can anything that looks so wild taste so mild?
Every working man believes his money is better in his pocket than in someone else's. So he expects quality and value. Can he find them in an American wagon? Absolutely. In Plymouth. Yes, Plymouth. New, tough, Reliant K wagon. The only high-mileage, front-wheel drive, 6-passenger wagon in America. Sensibly priced, Reliant K wagon. The American way to get your money's worth.
The stage is now set for what may well be the most dramatic season finale in the history of Grand Prix auto racing, as 3 of the world's top drivers battle for racing's most coveted title, the Caesars Palace Grand Prix, live next Saturday on NBC Sports World.
We have 3 minutes and 34 seconds remaining here in the third quarter in the Astrodome, with the Oilers hold a 14-10 lead over Seattle. Oilers have the ball at the 28-yard line, 1st and 10. Slot. Renfro wide to the right. I formation for Houston. Give to Campbell. Up the middle. Bangs his way for 3 or 4 yards. Mike White, number 70, the first man to stop Campbell's charge.
He ran right over Mike White. Mike White when he was with the Bengals, was considered one of the strongest guys on the team. Watch the impact here. Shoulder to shoulder on Mike White, folds him back like he weighs about 205 pounds. Campbell at 235, if that's true. Mike White at 265.
Weight means no difference. Multiply force by acceleration, and that man has the advantage. 2nd and 4. Give again to Campbell. Close to the first down. John Harris from his safety position, right safety position, makes the tackle. He leads the Seahawks in that department.
Close enough for a measurement, or are they going to give it to him?
The Jets leading the New England Patriots 28-14 in the 4th quarter. If it can stay that way, the Jets will up their record to 2-3-1. New England will drop to 1-5.
There have to be some. There's a final score now. Kansas City is shutting up at 27-0. I cannot believe that.
You think Al Davis isn't going crazy?
What a collapse.
Campbell's got the first down. He is incredible.
Earl Campbell has, throughout his career, been the most dangerous running back in 3rd and short situations of any running back I can ever remember. He's obviously over 100 yards now, and he is the only guy who has gained any yards carrying the ball for the Houston Oilers.
Tim Wilson has had 1 carry this afternoon. It was for no yardage into the middle of the...
Look at that. How many games did you say he had gone over 100 yards?
This is now his 31st time in 52 games that he has gone over the 100-yard mark.
Slip screen.
To Burrow. Good first down play for about 8 yards.
Well defensed, though, by Keith Simpson. Did an excellent job, along with Michael Jackson out there, avoiding the block of Motown 76, and really held Houston to an 8-yard gain when it could have been a lot worse.
Eddie Biles looking on. Ball actually 2nd down and 8, or 2nd down and 2, rather, 8-yard gain, as you mentioned. To give some credit to this Seattle defense. However, they are playing without the services of Kenny Easley and Dave Brown, who was injured after the first Cincinnati game.
And Robert Hardy, who has not appeared in the second half with a sprained ankle in the first half.
Campbell, 2nd and 2, first down into Seattle's secondary again. John Harris, 44, makes the stop, and it is not a good sign when your safety is making all the tackles.
You got that right. Yeah, Mr. Patera has to be upset, but he shouldn't be too upset. Almost every team that Earl Campbell has played against, he's done this to him. Look at that. Boy, he just has great peripheral vision, and he sees when people are about to hit him. That's 24 carries now, 111 yards. And for his career, this being his 4th year in the NFL, he has averaged 22 carries a game for his entire career.
1st and 10 at the Seattle 36-yard line. Oilers threatening. They lead by 4 here in the 3rd quarter. Stabler to throw. Underneath to Mike Renfro. And close again to the first down. Keith Butler makes the tackle.
Mike, I think you must give credit to the coaching staff of the Houston Oilers. Last week, a real exception to the rules of professional football in that they gave the ball to Campbell 37 times and still won 17-10, although you give a big pat on the back to the kickoff return teams. And realizing that they couldn't week in and week out do that, had to go with something else. Jim Schaffner said it doesn't take an awful lot of thought to come up with an offensive game plan where you give the ball to Campbell 37 times.
2nd and 1. Campbell again has the first down. Seattle has come up with it. Gregory Johnson, number 27, a rookie out of Oklahoma State, is the man who is at the bottom of the pile and appears to be on top of the pigskin. So a extremely large break for the Seattle Seahawks. Houston controlling the line of scrimmage. Earl Campbell running at will and then fumbles the ball, and Greg Johnson has come up with a big turnover. We've got 5:04 to go here in the 3rd. We'll be back after this.
I'll tell you, we never realized golf was such a tough game.
Hey, it's a lot easier hitting a quarterback than a little white ball.
So what's links to drink light beer from Miller?
Not just because light tastes great, but because it's got a third less calories than a regular beer.
And it's less filling.
And you can't afford to get filled up when you're out there trying to get birdies.
Yeah, those things move awfully fast.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
There's a company in Toledo, Ohio, who makes an amazing product for your car's engine. It can help improve your car's mileage, give you surer starts, even help your car run better. And the cost of a set is about the same as the price of an oil change. A revolutionary new device? No, it's a fresh Champion spark plug. There is probably nothing that can do so much for your car's engine for so little. Champion, the world's #1 seller.
When you carry the offensive load as much as Earl Campbell does, sometimes this is bound to happen.
Watch 79 come in from the side of your screen. The ball is kind of hopping out of Campbell's grasp, and then Jacob Green of the Seahawks hits the ball, and it's loose, and Gregory Johnson on a recover.
So Seattle now has a 1st and 10 at their own 15-yard line. 5:04 left to go here in the third quarter. Largent in motion right. Give is to Eric Lane, number 37, who has replaced Sherman Smith momentarily. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is KING-TV, Channel 5, Seattle.
Third quarter, Houston leads the Seahawks 14-10. Would like to remind you again, immediately after this game, the final 5th and decisive game in that National League Western Division Series between the Astros and the Dodgers. Royce going for Los Angeles. Nolan Ryan for the Astros. Zorn, 15 for 24, 131 in the day. 2nd and an 8. Flag on the play.
Mike, I wonder what's wrong with Sherman Smith and David Hughes. Now we have Jodet in the ball game along with Eric Lane. Interesting.
Philadelphia stays undefeated. They are 6-0, 31-14 win over New Orleans. That's the final. George Rogers, however, scored on a 3-yard touchdown run. He was the Heisman Trophy winner last year.
There's Jack Patera, new owner of a proud 5-year extension on his contract to kind of silence some of the critics up in the Seattle area. The people in the front office of the Seattle Seahawks are very, very happy with his performance. I just feel they might be about 2 drafts away from being an outstanding football team.
Holding number 54 offense.
Art Kuhn, the center. Shame on you.
Four defensive linemen in the game for Houston. Doris Stensrud, Jesse Baker, and Kenny Kennard on 2nd and 16. 3 wide receivers in the game for Seattle. Zorn under pressure. Jesse Baker, number 75, was rushing towards Zorn like he was on sale.
He kind of threw it sidearm, and if he doesn't get it off, of course, it's a safety. Look at that. Whoa, my goodness. Threw it right at the official. Just threw it at anybody, really, to get it away and avoid the safety. Now 3rd down and about 15 yards. And the field position has obviously changed in favor of the Houston Oilers right now.
One of the great things about Zorn is his mobility and resourcefulness.
Has not run one yet today, though. Rather surprising.
Zorn, quick give to Jim Jodet, number 43, who's just checked into the game. Andy Doris there to make the tackle. And so Houston's defense has come up big once again. The Seahawks will have to punt.
And Mr. Roaches is back there to receive for Houston. Always a threat, standing on second base.
Jeff West only has a 39.7 average, but he has great hang time and allows the coverage team to get underneath the punt. Not quite as high, and Roaches will get a chance to field it at his 46.
Look out, look
Changes
out.
direction.
Flag down. They'll bring it back. Will not count. Flag down on the field. 41-yard punt. 54-yard return, 4-0. I imagine pushing in the back by a Houston Oiler.
Which we have seen on many occasions this afternoon.
Certainly got the fans up and standing now. Watch the catch. He goes to the left, and all of a sudden the picket line is set up over here, and nobody touches him from that point on. And the Oilers spend a great deal of time. Elijah Pitts, former running back of the Green Bay Packers, responsible for all these return teams, done an excellent job. But just one mistaken judgment by a Houston Oiler, pushing from the back, as Eddie Biles said, and they bring it back.
Tomaselli, running back that was just picked up last week after Carpenter was traded, committed the infraction. We've got 3:22 to go here in the third quarter. Oilers lead 14-10.
It's long and your work is hard, and your boots say Acme. Your boots say Acme. Say Acme. Your boots say Acme, the real West.
Hey Frank, gonna wager on the race for a case of beer? Sure. What's your brand?
These boats will cover 200 miles before this wager's settled, but it's worth the wait, because it's for Michelob Light, that rich, smooth taste you can compare to any beer you like.
You never beat us that bad before.
We never raced for a whole case of Michelob Light before.
Michelob Light. Compare the taste.
The Astrodome in Houston, Texas, they still bill it as the 8th wonder of the modern world. It indeed is a multi-purpose place. It'll auto races, basketball from time to time, and the football games. Today, the Oilers on top of the Seattle Seahawks, 14-10.
Don't forget baseball, Mike. The Astros and the Dodgers coming up later. Royce versus Orion in Dodger Stadium here on NBC.
Campbell outside with Tim Wilson in front. Scoots his way for about 4 yards. Next Sunday, join host Brian Gumbel for NFL 81. All the highlights, scores, and late-breaking news from all the games. Then regional NFL action, featuring a pivotal game in the AFC Central as the Steelers take on the Bengals. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area next Sunday on NFL 81. 2:52 remaining here in the third quarter. Oilers on top, 14-10. If you just joined us, second down at 5.
Carl Roaches goes to 28. Tomaselli, the guy who clipped and said, hey, man, that's all right. We'll get it again. That's nice. I like that from Carl Roaches.
Campbell gets the call one more time. Doug Sutherland there. The New York Jets on top of the New England Patriots, 28-24 in the fourth quarter. They're trying to hang on. John Smith has brought them closer with a 22-yard field goal. Pittsburgh still on top of Cleveland in a tight game in the fourth quarter, 13-7. Atlanta 35-34 with Los Angeles in the fourth. That game has been going back and forth and back and forth. Unbelievable. Cincinnati 24-5 over Baltimore. Surely they will move to 5-2 in the AFC Central Division. 3rd and 2 for Houston. Again to Campbell. He's got the first down. Drags Kerry Justin with him into Seattle territory.
What you see there is the end of the run. Earl Campbell on the ground. What you must notice is Tim Wilson up front, 45. A good block on Tuiasa Sopo. Campbell cuts it, but look at the balance. Is there anything that we haven't said about that guy? 28 carries, 138 yards. And he does it so effortless, without a lot of effort.
Michael Jackson, who's a tremendous linebacker, had a clean shot at
and missed
Mr.
him.
Campbell and bounced right off of him. Stabler will throw on 1st and 10. Has to hurry a bit, but Renfro's got it, trying to shake loose of Gregory Johnson.
Mike, I notice Angelo Fields, number 77, in the ball game right now. And Stabler has good protection, but just at the last minute, Jacob Green in there to bother him somewhat. But the pass complete here comes Leon Gray back in.
Offensive line has given up 19 sacks this season, but with the shotgun, they have protected Kenny Stabler well when he has decided to throw the ball. 10 for 16, 98 yards, 1 touchdown.
I may be mistaken, but I don't believe Seattle has a sack yet today.
2nd and 3 at the Seattle 40. Campbell again has the ball. It is practically unstoppable. The I formation gives Campbell loads of time to read the play.
I believe you said it correctly. Again, the ball is given to Earl Campbell.
Joe Norman, number 52, finally brings Mr. Campbell to a halt. He has been some kind of football player this afternoon, but then he's always some kind of football player. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. The score, Houston 14, Hawks. We'll be right back after these local messages from your station.
Sunday, Fred Flintstone is off and running when he unwittingly enters a marathon. And Boomer bites off more than he can chew when confronting a local game. Here's Boomer. Then, Punch and John are in hot pursuit of high-speed con men on chips. Right after the Flintstones, and here's Boomer, Sunday on NBC.
Deadline, October 12th, Monday only at the Bon. Item, Magnavox component stereos. 22 watts per channel. Cassette player recorder. Belt drive turntable. Price, $399. Item, GE Deluxe Color TV. Precision quartz tuning. Automatic color monitor system. Price, also $399. Home entertainment from the Bon. Day, Monday only. End of transmission. P.S. Buy them.
John Houseman for the investment firm of Smith Barney.
Good investments don't walk up, bite you on the bottom, and say, we're here. Finding them takes good old-fashioned hard work, research, the kind they do at Smith Barney. Smith Barney is among a handful of top investment firms singled out for their work in research. Smith Barney. They make money the old-fashioned way. They earn it.
Senator Henry Jackson, for the record, today at 4:30.
Earl Campbell on the day, 146 yards. A year ago at this time, after 6 games, he had 402. He already has 650 yards and is ahead of his pace of last year when he went over 1,900.
Interesting. First game versus L.A., Campbell in a split-back situation had 11 carries for 12 yards. From the I formation with Tim Wilson in there, he had 16 carries, 116 yards.
Seahawks defensive line will have to buckle up and hold tight here. 4th quarter just underway. Hawks trail by 4. Stabler throws. 1st and 10. Got Casper.
Touchdown. First catch. First catch of the day. Dave Casper, and it's for a touchdown. 32 yards on the reception. And that just shows you what a great player he is. He was well covered. But you see the deception somewhat. The fake to Campbell up the middle. Holds the linebackers. And then the snake puts good arc on the ball. Over 26. Kerry Justin for 6 points. His first catch of the day for a touchdown. His first touchdown of 1981.
And believe it or not, he only caught 1 pass prior to this game.
They call him the Ghost.
Fritch on the field to attempt the extra point. It is up. It is perfect. He is perfect. 11 for 11 right now. We have 14:54 to go here in the Astrodome. The fans are going wild. Oilers lead 21-10.
It's time to bring some sanity and reason to new car prices. For 1982, Chrysler Corporation is offering some of its most popular front-wheel drive, high-mileage cars at 1981 prices. For 82, Chrysler introduces the lowest priced 6-passenger front-wheel drive cars, America's lowest priced 5-passenger front-wheel drive cars, and the lowest priced full-size pickup. For 82 cars at 81 prices, come to Dodge or Chrysler Plymouth.
Dear Atari Anonymous, my son Boris has a missile command problem.
My mission in life is to save all of mankind.
Lately, my daughter has developed a similar problem with Atari warlords. Now, with video pinball, my husband is acting funny lately. With Atari games so ingenious, so involving, so intense, I ask you, Atari Anonymous, is this problem contagious?
Coming into this game, the Houston Oilers led the AFC Central Division. They also lead the league in paraphernalia. They have pom-poms, they have pennants, and they have puppets.
Love you, blue.
And they have Derek Dawes.
And there's Dave Casper.
And Dave Casper.
2 all-pro tight ends on this football team, Mike Barber and Dave Casper.
Rich lines one. End over end, taken by Gregory Johnson at his 5. Across the 20.
Look out. Oh. Good play by Bill Kay. 30 yards on the return. He's the guy who made the tackle and just made Gregory Johnson slow up ever so slightly so that the rest of the Oilers could catch up to him. Jim Zorn, I was going to say, Mike, on the day now, 15 of 25, 131 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
They started the game in marvelous fashion, rolling up a 10-point lead, and
Houston goes with the 4-2-5 defense, expecting Seattle to air it out here.
Doris, Densrew, Jesse Baker, Ken Kennard up front for the Oilers. Zorn on 1st and 10. Finds John Sawyer, the tight end, but only for about 4 yards. Vernon Perry with excellent coverage.
And Houston does an excellent job when the other team has got to throw the football as you look at the scoring drive. The last 31 yards. Stabler to Casper.
It has been amazing. The Oilers have not gone to the tight ends that much this year. Between Casper and Mike Barber, they have caught but 5. Ed Biles has done a marvelous job this afternoon diversifying his offense. And Seattle has the ball 2nd and 5 at their 40. Sherman Smith. Stutter stepping his way for 2 or 3 yards. Oilers signaling fumble.
Yeah, but the guys in the striped shirts have not signaled fumble. Houston ball. Mike, I didn't even see the fumble.
Nor did I, Bob. Jesse Baker was the man who recovered the ball.
I didn't even see the fumble. But Houston's got the ball.
Seattle, when they needed it least, a costly turnover. They lose it to the Oilers, and the Oilers lead 21-10.
Believe it or not, if 9 out of 10 of these homes burn down, there's no guarantee they'll be totally rebuilt. Because rebuilding costs are rising so fast, even inflation protection may not cover a home fully. But now, Allstate's got the brand new home replacement guarantee. Get it and get your home built back just like it was, even if rebuilding costs more than you're covered for. Ask your Allstate agent about the new home replacement guarantee. For ideas that make good sense today, you're in good hands with Allstate.
Quality and value in a new American car, you must be joking. Unfortunately, to many Americans with responsibilities, it's no joke. Plymouth, yes, Plymouth is changing that with the new Reliant K. The highest mileage 6-passenger front-wheel drive car in America. Firm, quiet, built with advanced technology. Plymouth Reliant K. The American way to get your money's worth.
Premiering Saturday, October 24th, it's the Nashville Palace for music and comedy. Only the best play the Palace on NBC.
A costly turnover at the most inopportune time. Seahawks trail by 11, trying to get back in the ballgame, but watch what happens here.
Mike Stensrud seems to put his head in there, and he jars Sherman Smith so much the ball is now on the ground. Jesse Baker on the recovery. Houston on the ball at the Seattle 42.
Give us a Campbell. 26 carries Justin with him. A big final in the AFC Central Division. The Browns have come up short again in Three River Stadium. Steelers win it 13-7. They are now atop the AFC Central Division. Cleveland drops to 2-4. Pittsburgh will be tied with the Oilers if they can hang on here. Gain of 11 by Mr. Campbell.
Along with Cincinnati, who at the last check led 24-5 against Baltimore. So we'll have 3 teams tied for the lead in the AFC Central.
Stabler has had an interception-free day. Gives again to Campbell. And Leon Gray, Angelo Fields, David Carter, Ed Fisher, Motown's doing an excellent job of opening up daylight for Earl Campbell. Kerry Justin again on the stop.
31 carries, 163 yards. You know what his personal record is for carries, Mike? 38. He may break it today. There's still 12:34 left.
Number 55, Carl Mock, a real favorite with the fans here in Houston, has checked in at center. David Carter has moved over to the left guard position on 2nd and 4. Ball at the Seattle 25. Stabler will give it to Campbell again. Michael Jackson was there, but...
That's a great picture. Earl Campbell sitting there on the ground saying, oh, my goodness.
But he enjoys it. That's the amazing thing. He loves to have that football.
I wouldn't want his Mondays and Tuesdays, though. I mean, he's got to have 3 personal masseurs.
And a forklift to get him out of bed.
That's right. He's got to pay the price. He's just in his 4th year. He's got to feel like he's 45 years old on Monday and Tuesday.
3rd down and 3 at the Seattle 24. We have 11:53 remaining here in the 4th and final quarter. Seahawks down by 11.
What is this? They're having all the officials gather up here for a little conference. I haven't the slightest idea what this is about. What'd you have for dinner last night? I had the prime rib. Wasn't bad. Well, what'd you have? I had the trout. It was outstanding. Next time you go there, try the trout. How about you? What'd you have? I had a T-bone. It was great. I think this guy's hurt his leg.
Day of injury for the referees.
I think he's hurting his leg. I can't see his number or who that is. It's the umpire, I believe.
Earlier, field judge number 9, Bill O'Brien, was run down.
They're going to have to call in a substitute referee, I believe, or official.
Will be reset to 12 minutes. 12 minutes on the game clock.
That's the line judge, number 6. John Lineback.
I wonder if they're going to tape his leg. It looks like he pulled a calf muscle or maybe an Achilles tendon injury. Gee, this has been a difficult day for the officials. They normally carry an extra one, don't they, Mike?
Always. For such occasions.
So I don't know what they will do or where the extra official will come from. They're resetting the clock to 12 minutes. That's number 1.
These referees have to learn you have to play with pain.
Good point. Good point.
You can't let a little owie stop you.
I wonder if they get hazardous duty pay. That's the team doctor for the Seahawks, and Jim Weitzel, also the assistant trainer for the Seahawks, attending to the official. And Earl Campbell gets a much needed rest.
Dr. Krangle, the attending physician for Seattle. Well, the clock has been reset to 12 minutes. Jerry Seaman, the referee, starts play. Tail right there. Oilers 163 yards, courtesy of Mr. Campbell.
And the Seahawks came into the game with the worst rushing yardage in the NFL.
Stabler on 3rd and 3. Play action fake. He's got Kenny Burrow. Touchdown. a marvelous reception by 00, his second touchdown pass of the day. One more time.
Over John Harris, too, who misjudged the football. He could have come back and, I believe, broken this up. Watch 44. You see there? Well, he turned around. I don't believe he saw Burrows coming at all, but that was a great catch. You are absolutely right, Mike. 24 yards on the catch, a touchdown. It's not a bad day's work.
Tony Fritz set to kick the extra point. It is up. It is good. And now the Oilers offense, lethargic a week ago against the Cincinnati Bengals, have come to life. They lead 28-10. We're in the fourth quarter.
This Bud's for the people who make the tough jobs all part of a day's work.
This Bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
With Valvoline Motor Oil, you can save up to 10 bananas every time you change your own oil and filter. Valvoline's formulated to help prevent oil breakdown and heat buildup. Even in today's high-revving engines, you're not only getting tough engine protection from a top-quality motor oil, you're saving money, too. Now, that's a Valvoline double feature you just can't afford to pass up. Valvoline, when you want to do it yourself.
The stage is now set for what may well be the most dramatic season finale in the history of Grand Prix auto racing, as three of the world's top drivers battle for racing's most coveted title, the Caesars Palace Grand Prix, live next Saturday on NBC Sports World.
Houston Oilers fans here in the Astrodome being treated to a rare but quite an offensive show by Ken Stabler, Earl Campbell, and Kenny Burrow.
In a few minutes, those people will trade their Houston Oilers Love You blue shirts for the Astros colors as they take on the Dodgers from Dodger Stadium, and we'll have it for you here on NBC.
Fritch's kick is high and over end, fielded by Will Lewis at his 2. Across the 20, finding a little bit of running room, and again the flag on the play. Ted Thompson, number 51, a reserve linebacker, 7th-year man out of SMU there. Returned by Lewis of 25 yards.
That was a great throw by the official on that flag, too. Clearly about 25 or 30 yards.
Jack Patera, the only head coach in the Seahawks history. His lifetime record, 30-51, but the management very patient with Mr. Patera. They believe that he can make this a solid franchise. And indeed, in 78 and 79, they were 9-7. And the darlings of the National Football League.
Block above the waist, in the back, number 27 on the receiving team during the return. First down.
27, Gregory Johnson, the man who committed that often seen infraction today. There's our line judge being assisted to the locker room, it looks like, via golf cart. Seattle with the backs to the wall. They have 18 points to make up in a matter of 11 minutes and 43 seconds. On 1st and 10 at the 15, Zorn underneath to Sam McCullum. Out to the 20, gain of 5, 2nd and 5, Bob Brazil there to bring McCullum down.
And this is where Houston excels, Mike, as the official goes off for x-rays or some kind of personal treatment. Hopefully he's all right. Seattle going with a hurry-up offense here.
Zorn to Largent underneath. Hello.
And Largent just bounces up like nothing happened.
There are few men better at their positions in the National Football League than number 52. Here's a score, our first score from Los Angeles at the end of the first. No score between the Dodgers and the Astros. Royce against Ryan. 3rd and 1 for Seattle at their own 23. 10:44 remaining in the fourth and final quarter. Zorn will throw. Intended for number 85, Paul Johns. Carter Hartwick, the man on the coverage for Houston.
Mike, I think they're going for it on fourth down. At least Jack Patera is contemplating it.
Well, the prospects of making up an 18-point deficit in the span of 10 minutes and 36 seconds.
They are going for it.
Is not promising, so they're 1-4. Why not, Bob?
Yeah, you have to admire Jack Patera's choice. Well, Jim Zorn is taking a timeout, though. Wants to make sure that that's, in fact, what Jack Patera wants to do.
Well, last year ago here in the Dome, it was the Seahawks taking it to the Oilers 26-7. But it has not been that way this afternoon. Seahawks trail by 18 here in the fourth quarter.
This is the famous Mason-Dixon line. North, south. And this is the famous Firestone Trax 12 radio. It's a tire for both sides. Up here, you like the fact that for as little as $42, you're getting an all-season radio. No putting on snow tires this year. Down here, you'll like the Trax 12 because you're getting a steel belted radio for your $42. But down here, who worries about the weather?
A time comes when you must watch your money carefully. So quality and value are a necessity. Can you find them in an American car? Absolutely. In Plymouth. Yes, Plymouth. The new Horizon Miser, built with advanced technology and front-wheel drive for the best gasoline economy of any American car. 5-passenger Horizon Miser has a price that's sensible. It's the American way to get your money's worth.
Campbell's cream of Seahawk soup. Good.
The Seahawks are going for it on 4th and 1 with 10:36 to remain in the ball game, down 18 points.
Ball's at their own 23-yard line. And the crowd again up on his feet. Zorn will throw. Out to David Hughes. Did he get enough for the first down, and was he down?
No,
the
he did not
officials
make
say
it.
he was. Again, a big play by Carter Hartwick, number 36, who already has an interception on the afternoon. And Houston has taken over.
I think the official was absolutely right in the spot. He was knocked down by Carter Hartwig. This is an excellent tackle. He's down. There's no question about that. Seattle shouldn't be upset about it. So Houston takes over now at the Seattle 19-19 line.
I'd like to give a big thanks to our spotters here, Vernon Eschenfelder and Frank Pretty. They have done a great job keeping us up to date. Two gentlemen on our left and right.
Oh, I see.
They won't let you come back here, man. It's always fun to do a game in the Dome.
They're still wearing their Bum Phillips autographed boots.
First and 10 Oilers at the Seattle 24, and they give it to the main man, Earl Campbell.
Fumble, Houston has it. Now let's not lose our head, fellows. Let's be nice about it now. Let's remain friends. There's another official on the ground, Mike. Boy, they taking a beating today. Number 7 got knocked down. As has been the case today, it is Earl Campbell left and Earl Campbell right. This time it's Earl Campbell right. And you see the ball bounce out. It looks like Dave Casper had his hands on it for a minute and tries to run. Houston ball. But they still pick up 4 yards.
Second down and 6 at the Seattle 20. Oilers lead 28-10. 9:50 to go here in the fourth. Campbell breaks loose again into the Seattle secondary. Michael Jackson there, as was Gregory Johnson. Final score, the New York Jets in a big AFC Eastern Division game come on top of the New England Patriots 28-24. The Jets now 2-3-1. The New England Patriots 1-5, and is Ron Earhart in trouble? You'd have to wonder. Los Angeles has jumped out on top of the Atlanta Falcons 37-35 in the fourth in the battle for supremacy in the NFC's Western Division.
Obviously a field goal. They were just trailing 34-35 Cincinnati. The fourth quarter over Baltimore 34-12.
A win for Cincinnati can put them in a tie here in the AFC Central.
Is that right?
San Francisco 14-0 over Dallas in the first quarter. Paul Hofer, who has been injured most of the year, scored on a 4-yard run.
Good gravy. Campbell now 34 carries, Mike, 173 yards.
Third down and 1 for the Oilers after Seattle 15. I'm sure that Ed Biles does not want to add insult to injury. He will run the ball.
Yeah, but Campbell is going to run it in, Mike. Here he goes again.
Seattle's basic problem is that they are strictly overmatched up front.
Even the change of Tuiasosopo to the outside and Mike White to the inside has not stopped Earl Campbell, but there are times when Earl Campbell appears to be absolutely unstoppable, and today is one of those days.
Cincinnati found out last week. But Jacob Green only goes 247. Tuiasosopo only goes 252. Doug Sutherland only 250. What an amazing performance. Campbell again cuts it back on 1st and 10 at the 12. And Seattle finally shuts him down. Terry Beeson on the stop. Nick. Final score, Los Angeles 37, Atlanta 35. The winning difference, a 25-yard field goal by Frank Corral. So a big win for Ray Malavasi's gang.
I give credit to Jeff Rutledge, who replaced Pat Hayden at quarterback. Hayden out with a badly bruised leg. You realize that the Houston Oilers have run the ball 37 times. Campbell 36, Wilson once.
Campbell inside the 4, down to about the 2.5.
Now, this is a great job by the center and the 2 guards. Watch this hole open up. Mock on the middle linebacker. And you can't stop Earl Campbell if you try to tackle him from the side. Just split the defensive tackles and up through the middle.
That offensive line is giving Earl a 3-yard cushion to begin with, making it even more difficult. And the fact that Stabler has diversified a little bit and thrown the ball.
I wonder if Earl Campbell has a clause in his contract to take advantage of the overtime he has been working here of late.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 70 on the defense. First down.
Oilers now inside the Seahawk 2. I think everyone in the Astrodome knows who's going to carry the ball. Campbell dragged down from behind by Manu Tuiasosopo, number 74. A loss of 2.
Along with Terry Beeson, number 58. Linebacker. I think Earl is getting very tired. And as soon as I say that, I know probably the next time he'll come out like gangbusters.
Next week, the Oilers embark on a very, very important road trip. They play New England in New England, and then they play the Steelers Monday night. And then they follow that game against the Cincinnati Bengals. So several weeks from now, we should find out how well the Oilers will do for this 81 season.
And I think Campbell is the only team he has not gained 100 yards against in his career has been the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Campbell, touchdown.
That establishes a new personal record for Earl Campbell for carries in a football game. 39, 187 yards. And as I said, one time he looks dead tired. They give him the ball the next time. Breaks 2 tackles into the end zone. 34-10 now. Fritch on to make it 35-10. This game has gotten out of hand. Cue the baseball game.
Earl Campbell, the most devastating force in the National Football League. virtually controlled this game single-handedly. Fritsch on to attempt the point. He is perfect thus far this season, and he is perfect again.
To this point in the ball game, Earl Campbell over the last 2 games has now carried the ball 75 times for in excess of 400 yards.
Everybody in the car rental business talks about low prices, but at Hertz, we're doing something about them.
Hertz tells you in writing what your final rental charges are before you leave.
Hertz gives you unlimited mileage, no matter where you rent the car or where you return it.
Renting from Hertz really pays off where it counts the most, on the bottom line. So come to Hertz. We're number 1 for everyone. Hertz is number 1 for everyone.
Michelob brings you the 7-day weekend. Good eating style. Special of the week for gourmet's delight. Here's how to add a little weekend flavor to any dish. Serve with generous portions of Michelob. Because that smooth and mellow taste helps make any time feel a little like a weekend. Put a little weekend in your week.
Yeah.
Mike Adamley and Bob Trumpy in the Astrodome. There's your score with 6:59 remaining in the game. And the story again, as it was last week, Earl Campbell. 183 yards on the season, 698 yards, well ahead of his pace of a year ago. Tony Fritsch set to kick off. Will Lewis and Greg Johnson back deep for the Seahawks. A very short kick, fielded by Johnson at his 28. Avon Riley there to make the stop, and the message board here in the Astrodome tells the story.
I was wrong in my arithmetic. He has carried the ball now in the last 2 games 75 times for, I believe, 369 yards. That's a season for a lot of guys. Keep it up, Earl.
Jimmy Zorn has been replaced at quarterback for the Seahawks. Number 12, Steve Atkins, a 5-year man out of Wichita State, has replaced him. Atkins does not get much work, as his career statistics indicate. Dan Dornick and Eric Lane in as running backs for the Seahawks. Atkins going for Largent, bumped out of bounds, but not until he had the first down, and now the referee rules that he was out of bounds. No reception. Bill Kay, number 22, the man who put the stops on Largent. In the other National League Division playoff, the Eastern Division, it is 2-0 Phillies Expos, middle of the second inning.
Nothing
0-0.
after 2 innings. Excuse me, Mike. That's Steve Carlton versus Steve Rogers. 4 great pitchers today going in the divisional playoffs. Ryan and Royce in Los Angeles, and lefty Steve Carlton versus Steve Rogers in Philadelphia. We'll have both games for you and updates from each following this football game.
Atkins to throw on 2nd and 10, in big trouble. Scrambles out of it. Has got the first down across the 40-yard line at the 40. Carter Hartwig there, number 36.
That is the one thing that Jim Zorn did not do all day long. He has been known throughout his career as a good running quarterback. Chose not to all day long. You see the pressure. Comes from 71 Kennard, 75 Baker. Sam Atkins turns rusher, 11 yards, first down.
6:14 remaining here in the 4th and final quarter. Atkins finds Mark McGrath inside Houston territory at the 49.
They count it. Another first down.
John Reeves, number 8, the backup quarterback for the Houston Oilers. Sort of was rediscovered during the preseason and played well, and now gives Houston a capable backup should Stabler go down. Atkins' pass intended for Steve Largent, underthrown and incomplete. 2nd down and 10. How about this, Robert? In the second quarter, it is now San Francisco 21, Dallas nothing. Johnny Davis scored for the 49ers on a 1-yard touchdown run. Joe Montana also has a touchdown pass to Freddie Solomon. And of course, you know the Dallas Cowboys lost a week ago to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Earl Campbell, with his 39 carries today, is second on the all-time NFL list for carries in a game. The record is held by one Franco Harris of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The rollout complete.
So Sam Atkins getting the Seahawks rolling where they were stalled before. But the story has already been recorded. Oilers 35, Seahawks 10. Gain of 18 yards on that pass reception by Largent. Seahawks now have the ball at the 31-yard line with 5:26 remaining here in the fourth and final quarter. And remember, stay with us. Immediately afterwards, that divisional series final game between the Astros and the Dodgers in Los Angeles.
That's Tony Kubek and Joe Garagiola in Chavez Ravine. That is Dick Enberg and Tom Seaver in the vet in Philadelphia.
Atkins now rolls to his left.
He's open.
Largent, touchdown.
Great play, Largent.
Steve Largent records his third touchdown of the season as he beat Craig Stemrick, number 27, turned him around.
That is the first touchdown that the Seattle Seahawks have recorded in the fourth quarter, 1981. Great job by Sam Atkins, rolling against the way you'd normally think a right-handed quarterback would, but Largent turns completely around, catches side of the football, and makes the reception. You realize that Jim Zorn, well, it doesn't make any difference now because Sam Atkins threw it, but Zorn and Largent have combined for almost 50% of the pass receptions for touchdowns that the Seattle Seahawks have thrown.
Herrera converts the extra point to narrow the margin to 18 once again, but little time remains. 5:18 here to go in the fourth. Oilers by 18.
There's a hungry kind of feeling, and every day it grows. You know there's so much more to you than anybody knows.
Specialist Kevin Crowley is working with tomorrow's technology in the Army's newest tank.
All that you can be.
The laser determines target range and feeds it to the computer.
All that you can be.
It's just incredible.
'Cause we need you in the Army.
The Seahawks have just scored to narrow the margin 35-17. Sam Atkins to Steve Largent. 5:18 remaining here in the fourth quarter. And we would not be surprised if we saw the squib kick.
Mike, would you, I think the biggest choice that Ed Biles has to make once they get the ball back, do you put Earl Campbell back in the ball game and give him a shot at the all-time NFL record for carries in one game? 41, he's just 2 behind.
First of all, I ask him, and if he says yes, I send him in. He certainly deserves it. Houston, Los Angeles, no score, bottom of the second. Jerry Royce against Nolan Ryan. We'll be singing immediately after this game.
2 great pitchers.
The winner goes on to play the winner of the Philadelphia Phillies Montreal Expos game. That game being played in Veterans Stadium also today. Herrera squibs it. Greg Stemrick falls on top of it.
You know, I tell you what, Mike, they got the ball. I think they can accuse the Seattle Seahawks of being offsides. Efren Herrera, when he kicks the ball, watch how far. He's a half a yard offside when he kicks the football. But Stemrick does an excellent job at shortstop, keeping the ball in play, not letting it go through to the outfield.
Earl Campbell has not come back into the ball game. Ronnie Coleman and Adger Armstrong have. As you take a look at the fans' offensive game plan, Earl right, Campbell left, 34 down the middle.
I think somebody ought to tell Eddie Biles that he's 2 carries from the record, put him back in there.
Ronnie Coleman breaks free. One man to beat Kerry Justin. And Ronnie Coleman rambles inside the 25-yard line down to the 23. The 8th-year reserve running back from Alabama A&M. comes up with a big play.
Well, maybe it's the offensive line as opposed to Earl Campbell. 29 yards on that scamper by Ronnie Coleman. Earl Campbell leaves. Coleman looks like he's been there all day, doesn't it?
They are moving into the top of the third at Dodger Stadium. Dodgers did not score in their half of the second. Score remains 0-0. John Reeves, the new quarterback for Houston, has to give again to Coleman, but he's going nowhere. Jacob Green, number 79, met him first.
You know, Mike, I was just thinking with the approach that the Houston Oilers are taking offensively, Ken Stabler can play this game till he's 60. Just hand it off to Campbell going left and Campbell going right. I mean, he could play until he can draw Social Security.
But he has hit Ken Burrow twice for scoring strikes, has thrown the ball out of the shotgun.
Oh, you had to ruin it, Mike.
Hey, the fans, they were disappointed last week that people tell me that they even got to booing a little bit, seeing Mr. Campbell carry the ball so much. But
and today he carries it one more and nobody's upset.
Second and 10 at the Seattle 24. Reeves hands off to Ronnie Coleman. That long gainer he reeled off a moment ago was his longest since 1978, which gives you an indication of just how little they use this valuable asset. .319 remaining here, fourth and final quarter in the Astrodome. The Oilers hang on to win, which almost assuredly it looks they will. They'll be tied with Pittsburgh and Cincinnati atop the AFC Central Division standings. Cincinnati on top of Baltimore, 41-19 in the fourth. Reeves, throw, flags down on the play. It is almost intercepted by Justin, 26. But again, flags are down.
That's Seattle offsides, Mike. Different cadence from John Reeves. 41-19, the final score, as Mike just gave you. And as you said, Pittsburgh, Houston, and Cincinnati will be tied atop the AFC Central. Tampa Bay over Green Bay, 21-10. Apparently, James Lofton and John Jefferson didn't help. We'll get you up to date on the scores around the NFL before we leave the Astrodome today to go to Chavez Ravine in Los Angeles.
You mentioned that Tampa
Bay. Number 79 defense.
San Francisco now on top of Dallas 24-0. Ray Wersching, an 18-yard field goal.
Is this some kind of joke? Somebody trying to pull our leg? 24-0. Frisco over Dallas.
3rd and 3. Ball at the 17. 2:54 remaining. Reeves, busted play.
Somebody went the wrong way.
Seahawks a little upset that they weren't given the football. Apparently, John Reeves fumbled when he was downed.
Well, I think Seattle showing the frustrations of the day. Not stopping Earl Campbell, allowing the Oilers 374 yards of offense, which is very uncharacteristic of the Oilers offense. Normally they gain about 225 per game, which is the worst in the NFL. Today, 374, 183 by one person, Earl Campbell.
Looking ahead to next week for Seattle, they will play the New York Giants in the Kingdome. And then the following week will travel to New York again, but to play the Jets.
4th and 2.
Reeves throwing. Which I find kind of surprising in light of the score that they would continue to throw the ball. But Seattle takes over.
Well, there ought to be a gimme in professional football. You know that? Just like there's a gimme in golf. Just say to everybody, we'll give it to him.
As we understand it, Mrs. Ann Campbell from Tyler, Texas, Earl's mother, is here, and this is the first time she has seen a Oiler game in its entirety.
No kidding. How about that?
And she's got to be busting with pride over the performance of her son, who's had himself just another sensational day.
Look at the size of the shoulder pads that man wears. Offensive lineman shoulder pads to protect him. And he's talking to Tim Wilson, his running mate. I wonder if they negotiate their contracts together. If I were Wilson, boy, I'd be in there every time Earl's in there.
I know he's got stock in an aspirin franchise. His head has got to be ringing after a day of lead blocking for Earl Campbell.
But I'd rent Earl Campbell's basement if I were Tim Wilson. I'd go everywhere he goes, and I'd make sure that he's sat in first-class seats.
Timmy, 6'3", 230 pounds, fifth-year man out of Maryland. Installed 2 weeks ago or last week as the I-back, once again his old position. Once Rob Carpenter was traded to the Giants. Atkins on 2nd and 10. Again, flush from the pocket. Has to run. Breaks a tackle.
Good job.
And gets the first down.
Sam doesn't get many chances, so when he's in there, he's going to give it his all.
That's the 2-minute warning. So far, it has been all Oilers. 35-16. We'll be back in a minute.
Alcoa presents Fantastic Finishes. 1970, Tom Dempsey will try to do the impossible, kick a 63-yard field goal. Joe Scarpati gets the ball down. Dempsey caught it solid, and it's good. Tom Dempsey has just kicked a 63-yard field goal. With no time left on the clock, the Saints beat the Lions 19-17.
Alcoa can't wait. We're gonna keep moving on today. We can't afford to hesitate. Come on along, participate. Conserving energy every day. Alcoa and aluminum know the way. We can't wait. We're doing it now. We can't wait. We'll show you how. Alcoa can't wait.
We can't wait for tomorrow.
Houston 35, Seattle 17. 2-minute warning just having been given to both benches. Quite a day for Earl Campbell with Tyler Rose. The executive producer of NBC's NFL football is Don Ohlmeyer. Coordinating producer Ted Nathanson. Telecast of today's game has been produced by Roy Hammerman, directed by Barry Stoddard. Associate director James Marcioni. Technical director John Burkhart.
Most of the folks have left here to go watch the Astros in Los Angeles. Make sure that they avoid the rush. Get there in front of the TV. Put the dog outside. Put the popcorn on.
I would imagine many of them may be tailgating outside the Astrodome. And
well, I noticed there are several TV monitors right here in the Astrodome. Small TVs where they're watching it somehow. Not sure how.
1st and 10, Seattle at the 30-yard line. Atkins will throw. Sam McCullum underneath. Knocked out of bounds, stopping the clock with 1:53 remaining. Greg Stemrick on the stop.
How in the world did that pigeon get in here? There's three of them.
And flying in formation, no less.
I wonder if they came in back in 1966 when they built this place. I wonder if the Astros scored a run. There is some cheering here by the Houston Oilers fans. We will find out.
First and 10, Seattle at the 40-yard line. 1:53 remaining here in the fourth quarter. Seahawks trails 35-17. Eric Lane over the middle. Rookie out of Brigham Young University. Carries it into Oiler territory. Avon Riley, number 53, a rookie out of UCLA. At the end of 3, it is 0-0 still between the Dodgers and the Astros out in Los Angeles. Atkins in trouble, has to scramble again and scrambles out of bounds. A gain of about 4 yards down to the 40-yard line. John Corker, second-year man out of Oklahoma State, a linebacker.
Well, I'm sure Jack Patera is saying, where do we go from here?
He had to ask himself that many times last year. Now he is staring into the face of a 1-5 record.
What it come down to? It came down to an interception by Zorn, came down to a fumble by Sherman Smith, and that blew the ball game out. Plus the awesome display by Earl Campbell today.
It had started off with such bright prospects, a Herrera field goal, and then the touchdown pass to David Hughes. It was 10-0 Seattle, but quickly the bubble burst as Atkins gets nailed by Jesse Baker. Atkins never had a chance.
Second sack of the day by the Oilers on a Seahawk quarterback. In defense of the Seattle Seahawks, this is a very, very young football team. They have young people that they must rely on. And especially that defensive line. When you take Doug Sutherland out of there, there's not a lot of experience. Every franchise must suffer an awful lot of growing pains, and the chemistry for the team must be right. You remember back 7 or 8 or 10 years ago, this Houston Oilers football team couldn't draw flies into the Astrodome. And they pick up Earl Campbell, and all of a sudden they're a contender year in and year out. And it's somewhat magical that these football teams are trying to put together a winner. It's not easy. It's not just drafting the best players available. It's how they function together, Mike.
Quickly bringing you up to date across the National Football League. The Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Cleveland Browns again in Three Rivers, final 13-7. The Jets over the New England Patriots 28-24. New England key AFC Eastern Division game. Kansas City shuts out Oakland 27-0, third consecutive time. Atlanta, a late winner over Los Angeles 37-35. 25-yard field goal by Frank Corral. The difference, Eagles stay undefeated 31-14 over the New Orleans Saints. And Cincinnati, big winners over Baltimore 41-19. And also Tampa Bay over Green Bay, 21-10. Washington had not won a game prior to the day, but they found a victim in the hapless Chicago Bears that scored 24-0 in the fourth quarter in Chicago. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is KING-TV, Channel 5, Seattle.
So first-year coach Ed Biles has to be happy about his performance of his team today. 35 points represents the most points that the Oilers have scored this season, Bob.
There's an old running back. That's what happens when you play 2 years past your prime, Michael.
Atkins will throw, 4th and 10, going for it all, enlarging. Vernon Perry picks the ball off, but it was out of bounds. And so the Oilers will take over and undoubtedly let the clock run off.
Gee, he's got a little excess energy there.
Going back to the Seahawks' problems, it is also possible that they may have experienced too much success too early. They had those 2 9-7 teams, and people expected many big things from them, perhaps too soon.
And, you know, you might be right. I wonder, too, and this is a well-worn question, and it's probably about 6 years too late, but I wonder, given the set of circumstances that the Seattle Seahawks now have, if they would have taken Tony Dorsett. You know, I don't know. They may have just killed him with a lack of offensive line, but in the first year, they had the chance for Tony Dorsett and traded him away for several draft choices, and they got excellent players, but I still wonder if deep down in their hearts they wonder if maybe Tony Dorsett might have been the difference in the franchise.
Well, that speculation will always linger as we look at Kenny Burrow and Kenny Stabler, 2 old National Football League vets who hooked up twice today for touchdowns and keep the critics off Stabler's back for at least another week.
Yeah, he can throw the ball down the field.
After a 10-0 burst by Seattle, it has been all Houston Oilers and Earl Campbell with the occasional.
Yeah, sports. This is CBS.
Skipper's has a fresh idea. Our new limited catch featuring juicy plum fried oysters or hot oyster stew or oysters and fish. But like other things in life, it won't last forever. Skipper's Oyster Limited Catch till February 9th only.
Smart buyers buy here at Bill Pierre Dodge. Hi, folks. Put a Dodge in your garage with Chrysler Corporation's special financing, factory rebates, and our low prices. Please listen to this.
There's 7.5% financing and rebates up to $1,000. This means Omnis at $59.95 or $119 per month. Charger $64.95 or $129 per month. Aries at $79.95 or $159 per month. Or 85 special purchase Lancers on sale now at $79.95.
Smart buyers buy here. Please come see us.
Is one cough medicine right for all kinds of coughs? No. That's why Robitussin, the #1 brand doctors recommend, comes in 4 different forms. Robitussin for dry coughs, DM to quiet persistent coughs, PE for coughs with a stuffy nose, CF for all those symptoms combined. Which Robitussin is right for you? Ask your doctor or pharmacist. And for your nighttime colds misery, try Robitussin Night Relief Colds Formula.
If you live in any of the areas listed on your screen, you may be able to receive a better picture from Channel 7 Seattle by tuning the UHF channel listed for your locality. For more information, call 624-7087. KIRO-TV, Channel 7 Seattle. Intense drama explodes in a small town when an 18-year-old boy is arrested for the murder of his mother. Stephanie Powers and Paul Clemens star in Death in Canaan. Today's Channel 7 Sunday afternoon movie. Next on KIRO TV, Channel 7.
The best thing about KIRO is Wayne Cody because he's always smiling and jolly.
Now that's my kind of sports fan.
I like the sports quite a bit. I really like the way he presents it. You know, he's very good. He does a lot of homework, I can tell.
The one thing I really like is Wayne Cody's attitude.